Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 16 op FLS. 45%. Chapter 341. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Thinking of the person who was leaving with her on the boat, his face was like winter seawater flowing over, a piece of sad ice fell, and a piece of moisture suddenly poured out of the originally moist eyes. Captain, this man dared to hurt you. Let me take her to Qinghai. Golden Lion hurriedly flashed out of the darkness, his face panicked, the blade of his feet flashed, and the cold killing intent wafted away. I originally thought that with Qin Luo's character, anyone who dared to offend him would definitely be cut to death. I didn't expect Qin Luo to be seduced by the beauty of this woman, and didn't even make a move. This made Golden Lion very depressed. This person is the one in front of him. Albia, a woman who can read the text of history. If Qin Luo knows about the 3 major weapons, she is afraid that her revenge plan will become a castle in the air and a mirage. Ah, it's you evil pirate. You are a group. Even if I can't beat you, I will kill you. Albia's face was awe-inspiring, ignoring that the blade of light pierced her heart. Grabbed the long-barreled shotgun on the ground and slammed on the man's head. Since Golden Lion spoke, Albia, who is in high tension, feels a bit familiar, but he is not very sure. When Qin Luo is distracted, he hasn't delved too deeply. Now that Golden Lion comes out with long golden hair, a conspicuous. Albia was quite sure that it was the thief in front of her. 4 days ago, she lifted her ship into the sky, and then drove the remaining 33 partners off the ship. If they fell into the sea, they would not encounter the others. If it is a boat, it must be fed fish. Do you want to kill me? Golden Lion screamed, furious, remembering the humiliation he received at Qin Luo's feet just now, with long blonde hair and a sword passed directly into Albia's heart like moonlight and silver, just a blink of an eye let her report to the palace of the King of Gods. Base. The sword light flashed. Advertisement. Albia only felt a chill in her chest, the hideousness on her face turned into a painful convulsion, and her breathing was stagnant. Patter. A black shadow turned into a broken kite and flew back quickly, as if it was thrown directly from the cabin by some powerful arm. Albia covered her chest with her hands, her eyes were dull, in disbelief, and stared at her chest in a daze. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. She clearly saw the blonde man who was able to dodge all the cannonballs before, and pierced her chest directly with the sharp sword on his feet. Why was that man suddenly thrown out like a cannonball? Are you surprised? A deep voice recalled in Albia's ears, which made Albia couldn't help but look up at the man in front of him. The masked man who fell to the ground stared at himself as if imperceptibly. This look made Albia very strange, but so familiar. Ah, big pervert, stinky pirate, I'm going to kill you. Albia finally remembered, this man had been staring at his chest. Hey, I just took a few glances. Qin Luo said helplessly, how to say that he saved your life. Don't you say thank you, how to say you have to say a word of thanks. Okay, don't say thank you, then let me earn a few benefits, feast my eyes, and in the end you still call me a pervert. I really don't know the logic of this person. Advertisement. Big pervert, stinky pirate, even if you save me, I won't be grateful to you, you are obviously in the same group, and he calls you the captain. Albia blushed on her face and she went to sea for 4 years. No pirate dared to stare at his place nakedly like this. There is a lesson from the world. Iluyun, I am definitely not killing innocent people indiscriminately. Although my hands are contaminated with countless blood, the people I kill are some extremely evil people. To them, I am the god of sacred judgments. I kill those people to atone for their sins. After Qin Luo said these words, his face was full of awe, but he was shocked by what he said in his heart. How could he say so much to a strange woman? Maybe Qin Luo felt that she was sincere from the moment she cried in her sharp eyes. Huh, I don't believe it, the most vicious person in the world is celestial dragons. Their crimes are endless. Have you ever killed celestial dragons? When Albia heard that his face was full of contempt, this person's tone it's a cannon blower, no one says he is the god of the sanctuary. You are a god, so the rest are mortals. It's hilarious. Killed. Qin Luo said in a flat tone, boasting of his great achievements is just the performance of the cowardly. Oh, Albia has a pair of sharp eyes. He has seen the warmth and coldness of people, the wind and the snow and the moon, and the historical text. At this moment, the eyes looking at Qin Luo are full of contempt. Celestial dragons live in San de Mar. Leah, It's so golden, how could anyone win celestial dragons? Moreover, this person was just like a rainbow, but now he has a vacant look on his face. Smelly pirate, don't play on the spot, kill celestial dragons. Funny, then I will destroy the Holy Land. Alvia's mockery squeezed out from the gap in his teeth, and he was tired of farting in the air. Want to use some words to run against each other. Advertisement. You don't believe me. Would you like me to take you to the Holy Land Maria for a walk, to see if they know my name? Forget it, I don't have to. It's common knowledge to film with a little girl like you. Little girl film. General knowledge. Where is my old lady young? Alvia was angry when she heard it, her face flushed, and she was in her 20s, and she was scolded for a girl film. It was the first time since she went to sea. Angrily, he straightened his chest. Wow. Qin Luo couldn't imagine that there were such benefits. His face showed a dullness, his eyes were shining, and he stared at the big bowl that was supported. It was really strong and hard to stop. Smelly pervert. Where are you looking? Alvia's cheeks flushed. How could this man be so rascal? She slapped her in a hurry. Although Qin Luo is not a protege, it is not even Lu Shahui, who is sitting still, of course he is fascinated by such a spring scene. The latter slaps on his cheek, his fingers are clear, and his face is hot. It feels that an abnormal blush has grown. You, vixen. Qin Luo's face was blushing, and he was angry at the heart. He raised the palm of the full-level protection, and slapped the villain in front of him into mud. Come on. My companions are gone, and I don't want to be alive, let you bully by such a disciple. I'm dead, go and see the corpse. Alvia bit her red lips, her face flushed with excitement, raising his neck, a desperate feeling of slaughtering his neck and letting the king handle it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 45%. Chapter 342. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This is the first time Qin Luo has met such a hardworking woman. Compared to Tsunade, Qin Luo can't do it anymore. You will follow me from now on and see how I teach the weak celestial dragons, the weak marine, and the stupid 5 elders. Then you will have nothing to say. When will my old lady go with you? Smelly pirate, smelly pervert. HMPH, it's not your turn to call the shots. Qin Luo showed a charming smile, waved his hand, and shouted, Get out of here, Golden Lion, tell me what's the matter with this woman. Hey, Golden Lion, get out of me. Qin Luo yelled for several times, but no one responded. Just now, he blew a cannon to kill the Holy Land with the woman in front of him, saying something weak marine. Now Golden Lion doesn't know where it is. It's broken, will he go to the Golden City Mountain Dora? Originally thought that the woman would sneer a few times, but from behind she heard the woman screaming awakening. What's going on? Qin Luo showed an intriguing look on his face. The Golden City of Shandora, in the original setting, is a civilization of 500 years ago that exists under the bean vine, and 857 ordinary people will never find it. There is such a relic. Could this news be detected by Golden Lion? Hurry up and take me down, I want to stop him. He wants to destroy the text of history. That is the civilization of 800 years ago. The silver-haired Alvia jumped anxiously, but that was the most important thing in their fleet in 4 years. Historical research materials. Without this relic, they would never know what happened in the world 800 years ago, and most importantly, this was the only thing his husband left for her. Advertisement. Take you down. Just now you called me a stinky pirate, a big satyr. Qin Luo said in a playful tone, crossing his hands behind him, looking indifferent. Qin Luo is not in a hurry, because to enter this golden city, the vines in the center of the Holy Land must penetrate the clouds on the ground to get in. The Golden Lion's ability is just that, and it is estimated that it will not be so fast if it wants to pass through a cloud layer close to 300 meters. What do you want? Alvia's face was anxious and angrily. Below, a piece of historical text above the Admiralty of Sandola was a nautical chart recorded in blood by his husband 4 years ago. They used this so far, it is also her most precious thing now, she will absolutely not allow the smelly pirate to get involved. As long as I help you solve this matter, you will kiss me, what do you think? This deal is fair, right? Qin Luo just wanted to disgust her. This girl never gave herself a good face, and she kept calling what kind of pervert, smelly pirate. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You don't have to make an inch. Alvia almost put his old mother on the lips again. Judging from the previous confrontation, the person in front of him has absolute ability above the Golden Lion, so he will go down to find the Golden City. Shandora, it is estimated that Qin Luo's power will also need to be used to suppress Golden Lion. Oh, let's attach another bear hug. Qin Luo's tone was lazy, as if Golden Lion ran away to steal the gold, which was completely normal for him. You, shameless, get out of me. Alvia was so angry that someone could be shamelessly shameless. What you said made me roll. I roll far away, I can't roll back. Qin Luo's face flashed with frustration, and he raised his hand to stretch out and flee, regardless of the woman's troubles in front of him. Thing. You will handle this matter for me first, I'll think about it. Alvia's face changed, and he made a violent struggle in his heart, and said categorically. Advertisement. As a historian who knows all about the present, Alvia is naturally accustomed to the ups and downs, and now the most important thing is to keep the piece of history left by her husband. You said. Qin Luo was overjoyed, and a cheerful smile appeared on his face. Of course, all the other party saw was Qin Luo's cold mask. Qin Luo hadn't finished speaking yet. I felt the ground tremble, and the hull under his feet rolled violently. Alvia, who was out of reach, screamed and fell to the ground. After shaking, the hull under his feet suddenly lifted up, very fast. It seemed that something below stared at the entire hull and surged up frantically. Look, what is that? A monster. Alvia was lying on the ground right at the entrance of the cabin. Naturally, with the help of silver brilliance, she could clearly see the situation outside, and the sight in front of her surprised her. The silver brilliance cast down, and a black shadow that could block a large area of moonlight suddenly covered from the front of the ship. It looked like a large long cylinder, and it was slamming against it with the force of thunder, like the stormy sea encountered by a ship in a storm. Catch me. Qin Luo has fought countless battles, and has already noticed the situation outside. The shadow in front of him is more than 10 larger than the giant IQ creatures just now. It looks more like. Qin Luo thought of a certain possibility, and hurriedly stepped out of the cabin and came to the deck of the ship. Looking around, a thick living creature like the sky was swaying in the sky. He didn't know where this thick living creature led to the sky. There is no end in sight at a glance. Such a figure, such a sky reaching, only the huge vine that runs through the White Sea, and the Holy Land with a length of thousands of meters. Advertisement. And now, this huge vine has come alive like a living thing, and it is directly violent as if it has been hit by the IQ toxin, sweeping the Holy Land creatures around it, the guide bird, the python and other types of the Holy Land. The creatures jumped instantly. Under the silver brilliance, a thick cloud of chaotic smoke emerged above the holy ground, the long smoke billowing like a dragon, rushing into the sky. Damn it! Golden Lion lousy grabs you and wants you to cramp and peel. In front of Qin Luo's incredible face, a thick arm frequently shot, and the huge black shadow in front of him was directly crushed, facing Qin Luo's front. At this time, if Qin Luo stepped aside, the strange ship in front of him would definitely be crushed into fragments by the huge vine branches in front of him. The reality forced Qin Luo to stand motionless here, with a human body and a huge body. Fight against the vine monster. Be careful. Alvia, who was lying at the door of the cabin, had a firm face and saw the behemoth in front of him clearly. Even if he knew that the man in front of him was facing the attack of the giant creature alone, he would definitely be killed, but he still didn't scream. The big deal is death. Without fear, he reminded Qin Luo to be careful. Okay. Qin Luo spit out a word, but didn't quarrel with Alvia in front of him, didn't tell the opponent that he could kill this thing with one blow, but sincerely accepted the other's care. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 45%. Chapter 343. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Ha ha ha. Is Luyun crying away from your new girlfriend? Suddenly a voice came from far and near, from the direction of the silver moon. Qin Luo took a closer look and saw a golden lion with an angry beard standing in the air beside the huge living creature with vines, the long sword on his feet shining. Excuse me, golden lion, I was discussing with her just now whether braised lion head is delicious or steamed lion head is delicious. I am so hard to decide now, I will also ask you, Golden Lion. Qin Luo said in a full tone. It's a mockery, treating the IQ vine that is insanely abusive in front of me, as if it were a piece of air. Huh. Don't be silly here. I injected all the remaining 72 IQ hormones into this huge vine. The huge vine has no eyes and will not be controlled by you at all. The huge body will only crush you. Compressed into pieces. Golden Lion laughed wildly. His face was full of madness. He injected the remaining 72 IQ hormones originally extracted from the research and development of his ship doctor into this IQ creature. This huge vine has no eyes at all, so it will not. Under the control of Qin Luo. This is also a secret that Golden Lion discovered for a long time after observing for a long time. Earlier, after his IQ creature was controlled, his eyes would appear like Qin Luo's eyes with 6-pointed pupils. Now he activated an IQ creature without eyes, which is naturally so called. There is no way to talk about the control. Advertisement. Why? You are defeated. Do you think that the bigger you are, you think you can beat me? Qin Luo asked calmly, not ignoring the fangs and claws in front of him. This Golden Lion challenged Qin Luo's bottom line time and time again. Qin Luo no longer planned to keep Golden Lion anymore. The killing intent he showed, even through the mask, made Golden Lion shudder. The former is not a joke. Destroying the Holy Land or destroying the world government can scare people to death. I won't talk to you anymore, uncle, I'm going to find gold. Golden Lion's face is sad. FCK Qin Luo is really strong. If there is a second way, Golden Lion will not be opponents to Qin Luo. This person is terrible. Want to run? God of flowing clouds, hurry up and catch this person. Hearing what Golden Lion said, he knew what he wanted to do. Gon Fuer showed a solemn face. He had seen this Golden Lion's flying skills. Naturally, I also know that the other party has arrogant capital. So we must first act first. However, Qin Luo was indifferent as soon as he heard it, as if a cool wind was standing in the air. His eyes were flat, revealing a cold killing intent. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Want to kill me? Haha. I'm afraid you won't have time to wait. Golden Lion ran all the way and turned around, revealing a triumphant face, full of confidence that, you dare not kill me, just like the person who holds the winning ticket. While speaking, a pair of cunning eyes glanced at the people who fell on the ground from time to time. After receiving the prompt from the other party, Gon Fuer hurriedly looked at Angel Island, which is dozens of meters below the floating island. Angel Island was broken and ruined everywhere. Pedestrians were in a panic, and the children were afraid of holding their heads, screaming, and screaming, one after another. Called endlessly. Boom. Advertisement. This gigantic vine plant twisted her waist, and the entire cloud layer of the ground broke and a gap appeared. There were black cracks exposed on the gap. The ground tilted and Lu Yun vibrated. A little girl was supposed to hold a big stupid bear. Fleeing, trembling, the whole body loses gravity and rolls directly into the crack with a grunt. Then there is the surface of Qinghai. Everyone's heart was stunned, and the people around them shrank their heads in fear, holding the few small packages or holding their own children, scrambling to leave the huge vine that was raging crazily. The cracks on the ground came one after another, like wild beasts, eating one by one of the lovely streets on the ground one by one, as if they were looking for some important treasure. Golden Lion, don't fall into my hands, otherwise I will completely dissipate you in the air. Golden Lion, you must live well, wait for me to pass and take your life. One of Qin Luo's exposed eyes saw people running all over the floor who had lost their relatives and partners, rushing to tell each other and clamoring for the earth. Only felt the eye circles hot, red threads overflowing from the corner of the eye, the raging cold killing intent gently surrounded Qin Luo. This Golden Lion only cares about his own personal interests, and does not care about the life and death of others. He is selfish and extremely cold-blooded. This person deserves to be thrown into impel down. Some stupid people died. What are you nervous about? Golden Lion saw Qin Luo's eyes with fear, his eyes contracted, and he took a few steps back, but he couldn't lose his face, just straighten his chest, stopped the trembling, and yelled at his neck. Lu Yun couldn't kill him at such a distance. Even if he wanted to kill him later, he had to wait for him to completely solve the huge vine monster, otherwise it would only kill more ants. However, he didn't care about these ants. Advertisement. Stupid person. Your humble life is worthless in my eyes. You are an evil spirit, and each of their lives is pure and noble. And Qin Luo's mouth showed a touch of addiction. Blood, eyes are like looking out from the millennia of frost, giving people a feeling of coldness and cruelty, and the killing intent is as real as it is. I want to destroy you, it's a matter of breathing. ... The expression in Qin Luo's eyes made Golden Lion depressed and frantic. He raised his hands above his head, waving his pair of tongs like a victorious crab. Huh, Luyun, do you think you can completely ignore the life and death of those people? The huge vine, as long as it turns over, it will be a catastrophic attack by Daoyun, the huge body falls, and the whole piece depends on it. The living place of the gods, as well as Nakajima Island, Cloud Shinobi Village, and Golden City will all become empty island ruins. Are you sure you want to kill me first? Golden Lion let out a sigh of breath. His words made Ganfuer deeply saddened. These are the people of Ganfuer. Even if he let him die, he would be willing. Now these people are suffering. It is his once god who has done something wrong. It is his inability to save everyone and bring everyone a happy life. Luyunshan, do you want to deal with the huge vine first? This thing is too big. Even if I cut him off, the huge vine can grow automatically, which is very scary. I observe. However, this huge vine is the pillar that runs through our empty sky island. If the pillar party falls, our empty island will be over, and the Holy Land will be over. The residents of the whole island will have no place to stand. Ganfuer saw the parting life below, and suffered a catastrophic violent slaughter, which made him feel uncomfortable with these convulsions after another. He grabbed the corner of Qin Luo's clothes, begging Qin Luo to act like a god. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 45%. Chapter 344. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In that case, when I lose half of the chips, you completely provoke me. Give you 30 seconds. Golden Lion, you run as much as you want. This is the countdown to the death I gave you. You better be in the bottom of my heart. 30 counts down inside. The six-pointed star in Qin Luo's eyes flickered. Every time the six-pointed star incited, it meant that the power in his heart began to spin frantically. This Golden Lion threatened him, Qin Luo, with the lives of civilians. This is what Qin Luo hates most. He hates others' threats to himself. He absolutely wants to completely kill those who dare to threaten him. Qin Luo has compassion, and everyone has compassion. I think at the beginning, when I encountered a violent tsunami in the Fishmen Island, Qin Luo did not punish the pirates who surrounded the Fishmen Island. Instead, he used the world wall to directly block the huge tsunami. Ha ha ha, you really know how to tell jokes, telling some deceptive jokes. Don't you have any compelling numbers in your heart when you utter lunatics? When have you seen such a big vine that runs directly through the White Sea, the White Sea? 30 seconds to solve. Don't laugh off my suppression, okay? Golden Lion seems to have heard the funniest joke of the century. Yes, that's right. You flowed down, Golden Lion. You were also conspired by the other party to conspiracy with Marine to calculate yourself and throw yourself into impel down, but that it doesn't mean that you floating cloud god is invincible in the world. Faced with a huge vine IQ plant like a disaster, you must be helpless. Golden Lion laughed wildly. You, flowing cloud god, claims to be a god, but you think you are invincible in the world. Can you fight the sky? Do you know how vast the sky is? Luyun, let's save people first. Pierre, who was riding Ganfuer, took 2 steps tightly, cowering, and the huge IQ monster in front of him was too big. There were 300 or 400. The height of meters is not something that humans can fight against. So Ganfuer said this. In fact, he wants Qin Luo to step down, not to bet against the so-called Golden Lion villain, so that he loses face and makes Golden Lion a little bit more prestigious. After all, if you want to solve a behemoth in 30 seconds, unless there is some energy that can instantly turn this IQ creature into a powder. But if it suddenly becomes a piece of dust, the entire foundation of the empty island will not be destroyed, and it will directly become a ruin. Advertisement. This is an impossible paradox. Even if Qin Luo's ability to reach the sky exploded, it would not be possible to solve the immediate problem perfectly. He could only repair the IQ plants slowly to support the empty island and not fall down. 30 seconds have started. Golden Lion, I only give you 30 seconds, go and run away as much as you want. Qin Luo's ethereal voice came to mind in midair. It made Golden Lion's neck cool, and there was a kind of coldness. The indescribable feeling of depression is like the feeling that Shinigami's sickle is once again placed on his neck. The golden lion, who was originally a swollen face and filled with fat, could not help but run wild. 1, 2, 3. The more golden lion didn't want to think about it, but the more uncontrollable his mind was in the countdown, the confirmation went on. Golden lion now only feels that he is doing the most correct thing, not a very glorious thing. From Qin Luo's killing of the Holy Land, the killing of 5 elders, and the killing of the world government, which thing is not done? Therefore, I would rather believe that there is something or not. He ran wildly, jumped into the space twisted and squeezed out by the huge vines activated by IQ hormone, and jumped into the quick shortcut to Shandora City. In order to survive, he did not hesitate to bet on his honor. Golden Lion, I only give you 30 seconds, go and run away as much as you want. Qin Luo's ethereal voice floated in the air tactfully, chasing someone away like a 30-second nightmare, but after 30 seconds of the nightmare, I'm afraid it will be the cruelest reality. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. God's boundary wall is coming. Qin Luo snorted and stared at the behemoth in front of him. The corners of his mouth curled up. In a blink of an eye, it disappeared suddenly, and in the next moment, he appeared in midair. 2 seconds passed. System. Yes, Master, what's your order? Give me 4 pieces of God's boundary wall. Advertisement. 4 walls of the gods. What do you want to do? Divide the sky in 2. Aren't you a system? Why are there so many problems? Yes, I'm talking too much. A piece of the god's boundary wall costs 1,000 points, and 4 pieces cost a total of 4,000 points. Would you like to redeem it? Exchange. 10 seconds passed. God's boundary. Come. God's boundary. Come. God's boundary. Come. God's boundary. Come. Qin Luo roared 4 times. At this time, with huge vines as the center, 4 walls of the gods appeared in the 4 quadrants around the sky. Such walls of the gods once appeared on the Fishman Island. Outside to rescue those pirates who were about to be blown away by the tsunami, this time was used by Qin Luo to contain this almost catastrophic behemoth. 14 seconds. The 4 walls of the gods are drawn from 4 directions by Qin Luo's spiritual force, and they are swiftly impacting each other. Their walls of the gods can all narrow each other's body range appropriately through different environmental changes. The whole body is the same name, invisible. No one knows what Qin Luo is doing with his teeth and claws in midair. Advertisement. 17 seconds. God's boundary wall. Come. Change at will, heaven and earth unite. A blast sounded from Qin Luo's mouth, and the ending sound of the word, he, was prolonged indefinitely. It was as clear and bright as the last hit of a drum in the morning, bell and twilight. It was bound to remain in the world with the most beautiful notes that day and earth, and the reverberations lingered around the beams, and finally become an absolute sound. 19 seconds. Bump. The vines activated by the huge IQ desperately wanted to struggle, twisting the huge body, and wanting to break free from the invisible 2.1 shackles of this inexplicable world, and the 4 boundary walls that hit it banged loudly. However, it was just a sound, and it didn't affect the progress of any great figure in the god realm to open up the new world. 20 seconds. Then, what is that? Why does the terrible vine seem to stop moving? Curiously, that huge vine will also have a huge torque that no one can match. Now it seems that it really can't move. Ah, ours is saved. We are alive. We are. Does this count as the magical work of nature? It's hard to imagine that the living creatures in the sky can stand upright. It's amazing. Even if they die, they will fall down. Yes, it stands up now, and it's right in front of us. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 45%. Chapter 345. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The crowd cheered, and in just 20 seconds, they witnessed an incredible miracle. They were all prepared to take some snacks and prepare to store them. Some were pulling their children to escape in hiding, and some were pulling not only the clothes of the people who had fallen. However, in just 20 seconds, the irritable IQ creature tree actually stood still, not like death, but more like a god cast a certain magical magic, like a body curse, to kill this IQ creature. Defined instantly. Lu Yun, you are really our god. I want to resign, and I want to serve you as our god. It is the supreme god of our angel family. Among them, the happiest one is undoubtedly gone fewer. His life goal is to dedicate his life to the people on the Sky Island. In the end, he wants to let his people live happily for the rest of their lives. Now Qin Luo is raising hands. This time is a miracle, how can we not let him be convinced? Hearing Gone Fewer's heartfelt words of devotion, the world is the public, Qin Luo just chuckled, and the eyes of the six-pointed star that was exposed in the air flickered again, which meant that Qin Luo was staring again. A prey, this prey is the stinky lion that keeps running. Seeing this scene in Gone Fewer's eyes, the whole body shuddered for no reason. Qin Luo's eye was enough to shock all the monsters in the world. 20, 21, 22. The golden lion was still running fast, passing through the sea of clouds from the White Sea, and directly tore a gap due to the distortion of the huge vines. The gap that poured in from the Bye-Bye Sea was like a black hole appeared in the Han universe, and the surrounding matter was being madly sucked up. Golden Lion passed through the gap. In just 25 seconds, he had already crossed the White Sea, and suddenly appeared above the White Sea. He only had to pierce into the White Sea again and pass through the crack. Gourd painting a scoop, rushed in, and within 5 seconds, he could reach the Golden City Mountain Dora. Advertisement. Then use the flying fruit to float the historical text into the air, follow him, and deceive Qin Luo by the way, he will come back then and take Na Alvia away, unlock the historical text, and find the ancient weapons of the Pluto, send Marine to the paradise of forgetting worries in one shot, and from then on to the pinnacle of life, marrying Bai Fumei. Golden Lion shook the thoughts in his mind, walked like flying, and quickly pierced through the dark gap, and his figure quickly disappeared. Suddenly, just 6 seconds later, from the dark gap into which the Golden Lion jumped, a scream came out suddenly, "Ah! Are you a man or a ghost?" Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Don't get close to me, don't get close to me. You are not dead, Luyun, you are not Luyun, you really are not Luyun. Before and after, I heard Golden Lion's ghost roar, his voice was as sharp as metal cutting, and there was a heart-wrenching trill behind each crackle. For a while, it seemed like Shinigami's sickle was added to his neck. With this hoarse cry, a black shadow flickered out like lightning, and stood still near the gap. The whole body was wobbly. The vertical blonde hair on the shoulders was trembling, and the fingers were twitching quickly. I don't know if it was. It was not because of excessive shock that the whole face appeared unhealthy pale. This person is the Golden Lion who just fell into it. He no longer has the kind of arrogance he had before. Instead, he has a deep-rooted fear. Advertisement. Impossible, it can't be him. It is impossible for him to clean up the behemoth in 30 seconds. I don't believe it. Luyun must have given up thousands of refugees from the Sky Island just to hunt me down. Luyun, you lost, you failed. What else did he want to say? His throat suddenly became cold, and his Adam's apple could no longer roll up. He opened his pupils suddenly, and a clear figure was shining in the crystal-clear pupils. The man wore a cold-blooded mask and a black robe. The clouds rolled on top of it, and came from the darkness, just like Shinigami who came out from the Hades palace to claim his life, even though there was a smile on the corner of his mouth. But Golden Lion still felt that his whole body was locked by a strong murderous intent. Luyun, you, what do you want to do? Golden Lion said from his throat. The words of Golden Lion made Qin Luo disgusting. The man in front of him had no compromises to achieve his goal. If he hadn't had the full-level system bonus, I was afraid that the immortals on the Sky Island would become refugees, and the deaths and injuries would definitely not be less than half. His level of despicable shamelessness and brutality, I am afraid that even Sha Jia and Shang Chong would not be able to compare to this person. Qin Luo was filled with righteous indignation. Qin Luo gritted his teeth and said, I told you earlier, I will do it. What? Say, what do you say? Qin Luo's words were like ice skates pierced into Golden Lion's heart. Even through the big mask, one could feel Qin Luo's suffocating killing intent. Golden Lion didn't dare to recall the last sentence Qin Luo said just now. That was a sentence that was as lethal as the name of the person written in the death note. It makes people unbearable. Advertisement. I said, I will only give you 30 seconds to escape, but obviously you didn't cherish it. Qin Luo laughed so furiously. Such a despicable villain. I actually want to pretend to be crazy and stupid with myself, pretending that I haven't heard 320. It's 25 seconds now. Tell me about your last words. Qin Luo said coldly, and there was an unstoppable coldness all over his body. No, no, I'll give you what you want. The expression on Golden Lion's face changed. The iron hoop-like arms on his neck pinched his throat and pressed it down. He couldn't spit out a single breath. A few words were still finished intermittently. Golden Lion fell into Qin Luo's hands like a chicken. The latter best revealed a touch of evil charm. The cold and stiff words came out of Qin Luo's mouth. Say it, how much is your life value, and you can give a price. The 3 chapters of the covenant. First, the rest of your life belongs to me. Second, you are my little brother on the boat. You are a member of my Luyun pirates. Third, you must obey my orders in the future and claim to be my Luyun pirates. Handyman in the regiment. Qin Luo wanted to see if there was anything good in the Golden Lion dog's mouth. Before, Golden Lion had already been a handyman on the flying pirate ship. When Golden Lion heard it, the original conditions he wanted to say were how many devil fruits to give, how many golden and silver beauties to give, but Qin Luo said so. It seems that there is no meaning and value in an instant. In Qin Luo's eyes, it is eating. Appointed him Golden Lion. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 45%. Chapter 346. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Look at you, it looks like a dog's mouth. There is nothing good. I will teach you directly. You can just follow me. Qin Luo showed a smile. If you kill Golden Lion directly, it will be too cheap. Shamelessly, it would be better to think of a good strategy to make him distinguish between good and evil clearly. I am willing to follow the captain from birth to death, to be a cow and a horse, and the captain tells me to go east and never go west. For the sake of the captain, may I'll follow the captain for the rest of my life. There is no reason to bargain with Golden Lion being pinched. Besides, Qin Luo didn't kill him. Just shouting like this, he can get a chance to survive. Why not do it? He opened his voice and shouted awe-inspiringly, I am willing to follow. Captain, are you satisfied now? Golden Lion condensed the hostility he had just now, and he acted calmly and guarded himself. He loosened Qin Luo's fingers and made himself more comfortable when speaking. If Golden Lion knows that the huge vines are directly sealed by Qin Luo, I am afraid that the atmosphere does not dare to gasp. If he does not pay attention, Qin Luo will be wiped out, then his Golden Lion's life will not be saved. Well, yes, you can tie these ropes yourself. Qin Luo said in a very light voice, as if telling a fact. His voice was calm but full of indisputability, shaking his hand to exchange the rope with the system. Throwing it on the ground, the sound directly evoked the listener's body. Golden Lion's eyes jumped, and a thin crystal of sweat oozes from the palm of his hand. Advertisement. Why, do you still have a choice? Qin Luo kicked the rope on the ground with his foot without even looking at the Golden Lion. That meant the most obvious. Golden Lion's face was dark and dumbfounded. He didn't know what medicine Qin Luo sold in the gourd. Wouldn't he want to catch him and sell it? Asked timidly, what do I want me to do? Is this what you should ask? Qin Luo raised his head and chest, without looking at the Golden Lion, crossed his hands on his chest. He looked like a celebrity eunuch who preached the imperial decree beside the emperor. No, Captain, okay, I bound my hands. Seeing Qin Luo's nostrils upturned, Golden Lion, who was about to ask, immediately saw Qin Luo cast a murderous intent on himself. The corners of the mouth were unfavorable, and the ghosts agreed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After rustling through the ropes, Golden Lion's face is full of humiliation. He hates Qin Luo for performing such a shameful trick. This shameful thing is really more uncomfortable than killing him. The expression of Golden Lion made Qin Luo take a look, but he frowned. Look at you, don't tie prisoners. You tie your hands so loosely, where are you tying yourself? Obviously, it's for you. There is a way for you to make mistakes. Come and let me help you. Qin Luo almost didn't laugh. Why was the Golden Lion in front of him so afraid of death, so he gave it away? This is definitely not the same person as the rebellious and unruly Golden Lion in my memory. The corner of Qin Luo's mouth showed a curve of successful conspiracy, which looked like he sold the Golden Lion directly. Advertisement. Golden Lion has a hard time saying. He was just cooperating with Qin Luo to make a play, and he had no idea but when he saw Qin Luo put on these things directly in his hands, the expression on his face it turned pale in an instant, and the strength in his body was constantly losing as if he had been stabbed in a gap. Well, Golden Lion, if you really submit to my floating cloud pirates, please tie your hands to the islanders of the empty island to confess, and then pray for their forgiveness. Oh, I didn't expect you to be so sincere. I bound my hands and used the seastone rope. Qin Luo said with his hands on his chest. His voice was still flat, facing the Golden Lion being so miserable by him, it seemed that he had done something irrelevant to him. As soon as Golden Lion heard Seastone's legs softened, his life was over, so he didn't know how he was fk'd by someone at Seastone. Qin Luo has never been moved by him from the beginning. From the beginning, Qin Luo planned to count him. There is a flame in my heart. The knocked teeth can only be swallowed into the stomach. He wanted to take a step forward and question Qin Luo. He couldn't help but he wanted to hold Qin Luo and ask why. Qin Luo put his hand on his arm and said in surprise, "You said you want to take the initiative to ask the people to apologize to the islanders. That's great. I'll take you up right now." No. Golden Lion's regretful intestines are all green. When did he say that he would take the initiative to ask for help? Those weak have lost their minds in the war and can only become angry slaves, controlled by emotions, and wait for the next for them. I'm afraid they will be devoured by these lunatics. Let me down. A white light suddenly flashed in midair, and Pierre's long voice was stretched in the air. Qin Luo was indifferent when he heard a soft drink in midair, but raised his head lightly and glanced at what was in midair. That figure. Smelly pirate. Oh, did you finally become a gang? You two still want to lie to us outside. You two are here trying to run in, escape alone. Pierre sat behind an old man in silver armor, Ganfer, and Alvia in a white tight-fitting jeans and t-shirt, mouthed a stinky pirate in his mouth, cursing, as if he had seen an embarrassing thief. Advertisement. You said Shandora. Qin Luo said in a cold tone, calmly speaking of the golden city of Shandora, which Alvia highly respected. As he said, he raised his eyes slightly, and Pierre was caught by Qin Luo's eyes. Staring at it, a horse came up in the air, raising his foot and screaming. His hind legs couldn't help but fall back, and the two on the horse's back almost fell out of the air. Okay. Smelly gangster, smelly pirate, you really are a group. Want to steal the gold of our Sky Islanders. Ganfer, as the god of Sky Island, are you obliged to expel these two people? Get out. Alvia roared righteously, and raised the firecracker, which had long been out of pill, to both Qin Luo and Golden Lion. The two had actually exchanged news with each other. They must have premeditated and wanted to swallow the two of Shandora, these two golden thieves. Gone fewer. Do you want to kill me? Qin Luo showed a thought-provoking smile. With this chuckle, the eyes on his face slowly spread over Gon Fuer's face, like a sword light through the moon. The glorious reflections cast on the man's face, and Gon Fuer's stunned face added a trace of horror. Killed the god of flowing clouds. Could it be that Ganfor was blind? He saw with his own eyes how Luyun God blocked the vines and controlled the IQ giant creature with more than 30 heads. Even if Gon Fuer had 100 lives, he was afraid that he would be severely drained by the opponent. Killing one sword means the same thing as killing 100 swords. Hey, smelly pirate, are you guilty of your conscience and dare not fight me face to face? Alvia hates this kind of person the most, robber. Collusion secretly, can't beat others on the bright side, and always makes small moves behind the scenes. He grabbed the firecracker in his hand and aimed at Qin Luo. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 347. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I have a guilty heart. Qin Luo Qingyang showed a charming smile at the corner of his mouth. The blood-red pupils flickered, and a savage woman who was fearless was reflected in the pupils, and the smell of bloodthirsty spontaneously emerged. I just don't want to care about you, shrew. The toad likes the mother's toad, shouldn't you have to talk to the toad? You, who do you say is a shrew? You are a smelly pirate, a smelly gangster. I don't want to say a word of nonsense to people like you. Alvia exploded, and the flames in his hand were buckled. If a person is shameless, he will be invincible. If there are still bullets in the rifle, make sure to beat the person into a sieve. However, he didn't know if Qin Luo wanted to make a move, he couldn't stop him even with artillery. When you just asked me to send you down to Shandora, you didn't say that. You said you wanted to kiss me, and then you asked me to give you a hug. I reluctantly agreed to you and let you kiss me. Give me a hug. You are slanderous. I didn't want to kiss you, and didn't let you. Advertisement. Okay. You are a rascal. What you have said is not honored at all. You are a rascal and still talking about me here. If you want to go down to Shandora, you can go down by yourself. I tell you, it is a few kilometers below. At the height of 517, you have to go down by yourself to ensure that the hand that landed will be thrown to pieces and become a rubbish. Qin Luo glared at Gonfuer with his eyes, raised his finger and pointed at Gonfuer and said, "Don't take her down, or I promise I won't let you and Pierre go." After speaking, Qin Luo directly took a step towards the sky and rose into the air, turning into a stream of light towards the white sea above his head. He did not worry that Alvia would really go on alone, otherwise she would not want to live. She fell to death. God, send me down. Send me down and it's okay. I just want to take a look at the historical text of my husband's instructions that I must come and meet. Alvia pleaded, and the gun in his hand was early. It has been abandoned, and there is nothing but sincerity and sincerity, which is the deep memory of his husband. A group of 34 of them set off from O'Hara 4 years ago to find the clues left to them by his late husband, telling them that darkness would guide them forward, and when they reached the Sky Island, they could see the text of history. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Miss Alvia, Ganfer just heard Qin Luo's warning, and his whole body was agitated. That would be too unlucky. It would be messy. It would only take up his own life, and Qin Luo still there is a life-saving grace to the islanders of the sky, even if he has 100 guts, he dare not bet on the lives of the islanders of the sky. It's not that I don't help you, it is true that the god of the sky is to my fairy island. The people are kind, and I can't go against his wishes. I don't know what Qin Luo thinks. Isn't it just a few pieces of gold? Why don't you want Miss Alvia to get involved? No. God, please listen to me. I am definitely not those thieves. For my own selfish desires, I want to see the historical text that has been preserved for more than 400 years. Our professors in O'Hara have a conscience. Professor, our conscience receives the guidance of our noble soul, and we will never destroy the cultural relics for our own selfish desire. We will announce the erasure of the history 800 years ago to the world. At that time, you will be us. An important helper in the world. Advertisement. Alvia bitterly persuaded, putting his hands on Ganfer's body, wanting Ganfer to make up his mind to deal with the problem, but soon he discovered that the problem was not right, because Ganfer's whole body was covered. Shaking, as if terrified. Alvia, if you do it, let me go directly to Beibaihai. Even if I have 100 courage, I dare not do anything rebellious to that person. Ganfer hurriedly shook his head. Chao was bitten by a snake for 10 years and pushed Alvia away like a rope. Alvia's face was covered with black clouds, and it would turn into a torrential rain at any time. The handle of the fire blunder in his hand was violently released by Alvia. There were a few green veins on the wheat-colored skin, like a small snake. Appear suddenly, like Alvia's grumpy mood. She walked a few steps quickly, and glanced at the abyss below. There was no bottom. This was very close to Qinghai. That is to say, after passing through this layer, she might really fall directly into Qinghai. Go inside. As a learned man, as O'Hara's professor, she knows what she should do. Okay. God, please trouble you to take me up. I will personally let the rogue take me up. Alvia jumped on Pierce's back carelessly, ignoring the opinions of other people's masters, leaving Gonfor looked blank on the ground. Gonfor's heart was broken, this little girl was too stubborn, and Pierre was too persuaded. Pierre, the Pegasus, who is quite human, rubbed his head on Alvia's chest, squeezing the meat, which is very uncomfortable. If Qin Luo is here, his ears were folded, and this guy's ears were actually put on someone else's flesh. There was helplessness on Ganfer's face, he cleared his mind, and sat on Pierre. Pierre was like a cheerful rabbit, and disappeared with a scream. The clouds soared, and the white clouds on both sides quickly receded from both sides, and it took almost half an hour to arrive at Angel Island. Advertisement. The top of Angel Island was in tatters, and there were broken walls everywhere, and the compressed clouds were torn apart one by one, flying in the air like cotton wool. However, the people living in it did not feel frustrated at all, but cheered for joy. This group of people are crazy. They are so happy because they have no home. God, have your people suffered a collective stroke? Alvia has a fierce temper, and his mind is full of risk factors. Seeing everywhere decadent, without the slightest sadness, on the contrary, he was surprised at the reason why the large tracts of empty island people gathered in front of him. Ganfer was also taken aback by the scene in front of him. In his vision, a large group of people from the empty island who had escaped a disaster appeared. They waved their arms and held all kinds of gold, shaking and selling. Listening to their tone, they seemed to say, "Me. I want to redeem." If a modern person sees it, he will definitely think whether this group of people is buying lottery tickets collectively, or some shit that has successfully instigated those aunts and aunts. Look, isn't that stinky pirate on the high platform? Why does his people call the golden head tax? Damn, it is really home. Come, wait for me to go up and shoot him. Alvia's eyes sprayed, the fire flew out directly with Pierre, and even Ganfer didn't have time to stop Alvia. So Alvia rode Pierre and single-handedly went to the stage to assassinate Qin Luo. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 46%. Chapter 348. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At this moment, Qin Luo was hanging on the golden lion who caused this to turn into ruins, and jumped onto the high platform. His face was still a humiliated look. With a strong shake in his hand, he threw the golden lion to the ground, threw it under the high platform where Qin Luo was. People were attracted by this weird action. Everyone likes to watch the excitement, even the people on the Sky Island are no exception. They gradually gathered around, wanting to find out. Oh my god, that person is very familiar. How could he be tied up? I remember. This person is the one who dropped those monsters in our air. This person caused my family to be ruined, and I want to kill him. He has the ability to surpass the sky and earth. Don't rush, come closer. Isn't he tied up with his hands? At this time, a down-and-out Shandao citizen who had taken the test closer, clenched his fist and took a step forward and punched the opponent straight, and his fist fell on the opponent's chest. Let him have an unreal feeling. Wow. Golden Lion opened his mouth weakly, and hated Qin Luo in his bone marrow. He vowed that you would kill Qin Luo's family when you got out of trouble. Even if you can't kill Qin Luo, you have to kill Qin Luo's friends and his girlfriends. Advertisement. Ah, it was the god of flowing cloud who caught this heinous man. It was god of flowing cloud that saved us from the disaster. It killed our people in Sky Island. Let us cheer together. God of flowing cloud. Luyun god. Luyun god. People cheered frantically. Luyun god is really the god deserved in their hearts. When the huge vines were about to come alive and become tyrannical, Luyun god actually summoned the boundary wall of the four gods. The crisis was solved in one fell swoop, and the Sky Island was protected from destruction. If such a person is not a god, who can be a god? Luyun god. Please let us make a full-length portrait for you, and then build a Luyun temple to enjoy the incense of the people of the Sky Island for generations, immortal. Yeah, build a temple and enshrine the statue of Luyun god. The crowd once again pushed the worship to the peak. From now on, the name of Luyun will ring through the sky in every corner of the sky, becoming with the well-known story. Even the man who later claimed to have the strongest Logia fruit, Thunder fruit, did not dare to disturb Luyun god, let alone within 100 meters of Luyun temple. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This is a later story, so I won't show it for the time being. At this time, Qin Luo screamed from the stage. Dear folks, this person's name is Golden Lion. Qin Luo on the high platform felt a heartfelt joy. He stepped forward and saw that someone had already moved his hands. His eyes were full of smiles. He and I said that he deeply realized his previous mistakes and made him feel deeply guilty. He was condemned by his conscience and had trouble sleeping and eating, so he decided to auction himself off the street. This manpower is as big as a cow and can fly to the sky. You can become an excellent slave, do housework and watch children. Everything is fine, especially as a thug, which is very powerful. Do you have any intention to auction him? He swears that he will be reformed again. As soon as Qin Luo's voice fell, the crowd began to whisper, and after a few seconds it turned into loud talk, loud noises, and all the speeches for a while. Advertisement. Gosh, isn't this true? This man is very sinful. He must have done a lot of wrong things in his life. In the end, he was influenced by our Luyun god and bowed his head to be a bully. Isn't there such a thing? I still don't think I really believe it. Would anyone be like this? If you hit someone, do you feel that your conscience is hard to get and sell yourself? But now that person is tied up by the flowing cloud god, isn't he a slave? Even if we buy it back and can't let him do housework, we can use him as a sandbag. There is no shortage of people in the crowd who have seen through the internal news of this auction, that is, the tied decadent golden lion was simply tied up to the podium, and then suffered such an end, they needn't let him be a slave or something. Just use it as a sandbag. It's good to have a punch by one person. Although Golden Lion is tied up by Seastone, his body's energy is constantly draining, and his body is weak, but this does not mean that his ears are deaf. He heard the garbage in his ears clamoring for him to be broken. Duan, whatever, made him angry suddenly, and he was about to breathe fire in his heart. If someone unbinds him now, he promises to kill all these people. Throw him into the air and let him fall to death in free fall. The hatred for Qin Luo became even more speechless. Qin Luo actually auctioned it to build his own temple. Upon hearing this, Golden Lion almost didn't faint. Knowing that, he didn't come to provoke this sorrowful person. Everyone, be quiet. Qin Luo frowned slightly. If this Golden Lion is still so angry, blowing beard and staring, then it will not be sold at a good price. I am afraid that even a temple will not be able to get it. To make a full-length golden portrait, I'm afraid that it would take 200 caddies of gold, even less. To say that this is the best player in the world, except for me, Golden Lion can take the third place in the top 3 in the world. It is not a master. Now the auction will officially start. Everyone quickly quote, buy it and make money here. You can also make a joint quote. All the gold raised in this conference will be used to build the Luyun Temple. Advertisement. 0. Qin Luo calculated it. The most powerful people in the world are Whitebeard, the Red Earl, and the rest can only be regarded as the Golden Lion ranked 3rd, and it is considered a character. The eyebrows are frivolous, and there is a host who is learning from the auction in his mouth, pushing the atmosphere of the scene to a climax once again. God of flowing clouds. God of flowing clouds. Now the auction starts. The starting price is 10 caddies of gold. Each time the price increase is not less than 1 caddy of gold. This auction is not capped. Golden Lion is absolutely cost-effective, and you can make money if you buy it. 10 caddies of gold can't be bought at a loss, so buy you can't be fooled. Qin Luo exclaimed. The atmosphere on the scene was so lively that they didn't even start yelling for quotations. The crowd started clamoring to raise money to buy Golden Lion back home as a slave. 11 caddies of gold. I want to buy it home to get on and off as a stepping stone. Little lure. 11 gold is too shabby, right? Add 5 caddies of gold to me. 15 caddies of gold. Hi Dafu, you actually underestimate your uncle. I just give you a chance to make a price. I want to increase the price, 30 caddies of gold. The extra, just buy a little iron and make one next to Luyun God. Kneeling bad guy Golden Lion. 30 caddies of gold once. 2 times. Qin Luo's expression was sluggish. He didn't expect that in just 5 seconds, it soared to 30 caddies of gold. This data is still rising. Maybe it will turn dozens of times. Times 2. Ah, this warrior, add another 10 caddies of gold. It's a big deal. It's 40 caddies of gold. May I ask if there is no higher one? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 349. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Xiao Lure, remember it for me. Laozi will buy it even if he loses his fortune, 70 caddies of gold. I doubled. A wretched man in the crowd called. I have 100 caddies of gold. Me, 111 caddies. Little Lure and Hai Dafu, give me way. Laozi's wife didn't want 200 caddies of gold. See who dares to fight with me. Laozi's axe is definitely not forgiving. This hero is really generous. 200 caddies of gold. May I ask if there is any higher? If not, this hero can go back to torture the perverted murderer Golden Lion as much as possible. 200 caddies of gold. Once. 200 caddies of gold. Twice. Well, it becomes. Hold on. At this moment, it floated out of the sky with a soft drink, and a white light passed in front of everyone. The speed was too fast. The naked eye mortals could only see the white clouds, but they could hear the white clouds arrogantly drinking. Again, 210 caddies of gold, I bought it. 210 caddies of gold. My dear. This man is not rich, he must be the great Luyun god who loves us. Unbelievable, this man has offended Jerry the axe. Advertisement. Who the hell dared to steal my Jared business? A word exploded out of thin air. The axe sword in his hand, the shadow of the light sword, sharp reflection, saw a fat brain with huge wings behind it, and his eyes looked up to speak. The direction of the person. There was a commotion in the crowd, and it was hard to imagine that someone would be willing to pay like this. 210 pounds of gold could kill a person even if he smashed a person. And dare to challenge this axe Jerry. Who the hell dare to snatch me? Get out of me. If you want to buy this stinky lion, you have to step on me. Anyone who wants to move him has to ask me about the axe. Jia Riao said with his head tall, his axe pointed at the sky, Hockey Rin. Two silhouettes descended quickly from the sky, one old and one young, one man and one woman. The man's silver helmet was like a silver sky knight, and the other was in a hunting outfit, with a shotgun in his hand and the muzzle. He was facing Jerry at this moment. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Jerry's brows condensed, and sweat soon permeated his forehead, and his heart twitched for no reason. His face immediately turned into a dumb purple swelling after his teeth and claws were open. Although Jerry is a vulgar person, it doesn't mean that he has not seen a few fierce people. Naturally, I don't need to mention the god of flowing clouds. No one of them does not know the man wearing a silver helmet. This person is Ganfu. Yeah. Why? You are going to single with me. Ganfu was as taciturn as before, as steady and deep as the gods, but the woman who was filled with righteous indignation behind him, Alvia's tough temper exploded directly, and she fired from her own hands. He lifted it up and dropped it on his hand, banging loudly. As soon as he rushed up from below, he heard that Qin Luo was here pretending to sell his partner in a feigned manner, and when he led everyone party, then he secretly fell into Shandora and stole the gold inside. Go, steal the historical inscription inside. Advertisement. Although Alvia is not a righteous and awe-inspiring defender, she dares to deal with her as a fool, and he will surely let the other party know who is the real fool. When he was angry, there was a big fat man with 5 short and 3 thick stubbornness with an axe, and caught up with Alvia's shotgun. He dared to deal with him like this. Naturally, he would never relax his vigilance, and then let this person become a small part of himself, which is absolutely impossible. Little fat man, do you say your axe is very powerful? It's my mother, and I am now abolishing your little cock. My mother said that 210 caddies of gold is 210 caddies of gold. Do you dare to sell it to me? Tell me one more thing if you have the ability. Alvia's cheeks were frosty, and the fire guns in his hands seemed to frighten people at any time, in a set of frightening postures. Yes, Axe Jerry was sweating profusely. When he saw that figure, his whole body shuddered. He only felt like a bayonet on his back, the kind of bayonet hanging on his back. The Axe Jerry couldn't help but picked up the axe in his hand. Don't you think so? Then just admit your mistakes, don't be stubborn, what a man. Alvia's cheeks are flushed, her neck is straight and stout, and the light of her eyes is staring for a moment. The biggest prisoner Qin Luo, this person caught a pirate himself and sold it. Does this mean that he is standing with the immortals? Yes, it's a god. I'm leaving now, don't dare to disturb you, God Ganfu. Jerry didn't notice that there was a woman in front of him. Foul, my whole body couldn't help shaking, as if adding you to a demon from hell, completely afraid to violate the instructions of that god. Ha, shameless, I don't know who is talking about. Qin Luo, who was the guest host with a microphone on the high stage, showed a beautiful tooth, and one of his exposed eyes flashed like a moonlight. A bit. Advertisement. Hey, stop. Alvia's cheeks burned, and I still don't understand that Alvia is a fool. This person actually awes the god behind him, not a common man like her. He wanted to hold the fat man and find his place, but he quickly failed. The fat man had already left without a trace. Hello, this lady, you just called out 210 caddies of gold, do you have your gold with you? With a touch of evil on the corner of his mouth, Qin Luo whispered and walked from his host station. He came down, fell to Alvia's side, moving like a rabbit, and came to Alvia's side almost in an instant. The latter only felt a gust of wind on his cheeks, rubbed his eyes, and then opened his eyes, and he saw a delicate and angular face in front of him. FK. The old lady didn't say to pay. Alvia was so scared by Chin Luo that she came to her throat 0.0, almost not scared to death by the mysterious person. Oh, you actually got caught FK me. You clearly set up a hole. I won't cheat you. Our auctions are fair and fair. Everyone present has the ability to bid as long as she can afford it. At this time, several enthusiastic people all around raised their fingers. Point at the few people. Quiet. Chin Luo has a cold tone. Although the voice is not very loud, he can use his vigor to compress those voices into everyone's ears. This is how vigorous it is to make the rest of the people clear and audible. Why do you want to go wrong? Chin Luo knew what the hell was Alvia in front of him when he heard it. The corners of his mouth were clear, highlighting a harsher word, so that the latter had no retreat. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 350. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Sure enough, as soon as these words came out, the silent voice at the scene turned into a bloody storm, which made people feel unusually depressed. Why would I be wronged? I am that kind of person. Alvia was so angry that he didn't know how the Chin Luo in front of him insulted himself so much in front of many people. You say, is this woman deliberately preventing us from building the flowing cloud body hall? This person is not our immortal island immortal. Look at the attire of this barbaric woman. It looks like a pirate from Qinghai. Maybe it's the same way as the Qinghai pirate on the stage. Yeah, this person must have been all the way originally. Otherwise, why should he pay a high price and interrupt Jerry to buy the golden lion in front of him? It must be worried that his companion will be beaten up after being bought by Jerry. That's how famous I want to be saved. In this case, she is guilty. She is a pirate in Qinghai, and she is a vicious person and should be punished by God. We will build a boat. Then put this person on the boat and let him drift on these 17 areas and the sea. Suddenly the yelling people in the crowd stood on the commanding heights of nationalism, and instantly regarded the relatively innocent Alvia as a vicious Qinghai pirate with a weapon in his hand. Still suffering from God's punishment and exile. We must know that there are many giant piranhas in the sea of clouds, and there are many invisible undercurrents. As long as one is not careful, or if there is no food for several months, people will inevitably die. Advertisement. Are you old? I don't know, but the black light flashed, and Alvia only felt black in front of him, and there was already a figure in front of him. The black robe was added and the clouds rolled, only hearing him speak. The sound became smaller and smaller, as thin as a gnat, and people drifted away again. Boom. In the dark night, a thunderstorm rained down instantly, symbolizing a grand cry that washed away a piece of broken walls here, and the big raindrops fell to the ground, splashing a spray of water on the low-lying part of the ground. No one here has given up offering sacrifices to his new master, the new god, Luyun god, because of such a rain. This huge rain is piercing down, as if the bad luck that everyone here has experienced today has been washed away in this exaggerated rainstorm. Injured. Hesitate. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Their home was almost destroyed by a flying floating island that came from nowhere. Even so, their home was destroyed and fragmented. Someone fell into the dark cave and never got up. Some people were eaten by man-eating trees, and they didn't leave a single breath. They were angry. Angry the pirate who came from Qinghai. It was they who slaughtered their relatives and took their lives. So as long as they identify who was the pirate from Qinghai at this time, they will definitely be unable to control their own emotions. The emotion of collapse will make them a bloodthirsty lone wolf. Only when the enemy is torn apart can they get a little comfort in their hearts. Advertisement. The rain fell, as if the sky was holding a grand memorial service for those who could not return home before sunset. Kill her. Qinghai pirates can't stay. The sentiment was fierce. This sentence first broke out from the mouth of a young angry teenager, and then turned into a slogan, becoming the target of a group of bloodthirsty lone wolves to vent the anger of a group of bloodthirsty wolves. Under the powerful inspiration, everyone looked wolfish, staring stubbornly in that direction. There is their new god in that direction, the omnipotent god. It is also the most respected person in their hearts. Even if Roger, who was known as the One Piece, landed on the Sky Island, there was no boy in front of him with the black robe added and the clouds turning, making them fear and admiration. They can't help but want to worship. As long as this person gives an order, they can turn into cold-blooded zombies, bloodthirsty lone wolves, tear the woman from Qinghai in front of them to pieces. When has Alvia seen such a turbulent scene? She is like the center of the storm, surrounded by strange murderous eyes that can take her own life at any time, like an ice cellar that has frozen Alvia and let her whole body gradually chills. She could feel that, condensing the killing intent like a substance. In the killing intent, they can feel a rush of enthusiasm. It is the sense of mission and flogging that the people have piously toward their gods, and even a sense of original guilt. They are born with sin and only obey the arrangements of the gods. They can be saved. Pierce raised his head and hissed, and his calves couldn't help but back 2 steps, shocked by the killing intent in front of him. But was clamped tightly by both feet. Ganfer could not feel the coldness of the rain at all, because there was no coldness on the scene comparable to the pain of the bereavement of the people and the killing intent of the undoubtedly dispatched. The women of Qinghai were surrounded. Dong dong. Advertisement. The whole world was quiet, and the people who had been noisy were quiet. Alvia's eyes trembled cold, his eyelashes were wet, and he didn't feel tired. He still watched the sound for a moment. Direction. The group of bloodthirsty, devilish immortals who were originally surrounding her slowly dispersed to the 2 sides. It is hard to imagine that they are so rebellious, even on the verge of rage, they would take the initiative to get away. Road. In Alvia's vision, the people on both sides separated in a fan shape, and the people on both sides squatted down religiously, knelt on their knees, folded their hands on their chests, and whispered in their mouths, Hasso. When the crowd dispersed again, the torrential rain quickly came out of the 890, and the black shadow that came just now, he rolled clouds, black robe, and a strong murderous intent. His whole body was filled with sorrow and blood red. The 6-pointed stars Guyu rolled and turned in his eyes, strange and unusual. He walked step by step, slamming a little, and even covering up the rest of the stormy roar. Alvia felt that his eyes were hazy, surrounded by thousands of people, surrounded by killing intent, and his whole body stiff. The ground cannot move. For some reason, at this moment, she actually felt that Qin Luo was full of loneliness, like a little prince who was fallen on the earth by a fox and a rose, sad and lonely. He came step by step, getting closer, a few minutes closer, and one more step. Alvia felt his heart stopped for a while, his strange pupils turned, and he stretched out his hand. 3 cold fingers fell on Alvia's chin. The cold feeling froze Alvia's head for an instant. Before Alvia could react again, a strong man's breath instantly smashed her. Encircled. A piece of cold lips came up. Alvia's brain was blinded, completely blinded. The slightest heating turned into a mist and rose up. The person at damn it actually stuck out his tongue and stirred his mouth. A bit. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 46%. Chapter 351. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Soon the warm one jumped out. Without stopping, the man put down his hand. Your lips are very fragrant. He turned around, added his black robe, and the clouds turned, lonely, and went away lonely. He stopped abruptly, as if this second, he glanced at the kneeling sentient beings, and then said, From now on, you will be my stream. Cloud Woman. Although he did not say who you are, all the people present at this time looked at Alvia with a mixed mentality of envy, jealousy, complexity, fear, etc., and her head was still in chaos. A crack appeared in the strong barrier that was hidden deep in the dust. This is the first time since her dead ghost husband passed away, she has been so tempted. Luyun God. Luyun God. The people around screamed frantically, as if to celebrate the complete victory of their new god. Everyone shouted from the bottom of their hearts and felt proud from the bottom of their hearts. This is the god of flowing clouds in their hearts, even if they want to pick up girls. Hockey leaks sideways. Why, that bastard, stinky pirate, big gangster, and scumbag actually kissed my lips. Why is he thinks he is really a goddess. Kiss whoever wants to kiss. Alvi Argan was blushing, she should have killed him in one bite long ago. The bastard took advantage of the danger and kissed himself, and even stuck his tongue in to stir him. Advertisement. He is for your own good. Gone Fewer. The knight costume of the silver helmet, observed for a long time before speaking, but his face revealed a sense of relief for a while, and the stone in his heart was put down. Listening to the cheers of thousands of people, Alvia only felt that it was someone else's. She had nothing but endless grievances in her heart, for my good. Then you can just say, I'm his girlfriend. Me. Did you promise him? Pierre. Pierce hissed up to the sky, and a front palm hurriedly blocked Alvia's next words. Alvia, I know you must hate him to death, but he did save you just now. You see that the people were so sad because they lost their homes, even their wives were scattered, and they regarded you as Golden Lion's companion did not tear you to pieces. It was all because he said that you were his girlfriend. He resolved the hidden murderous intent. You did not feel that the eyes of the people around you were very friendly. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Gone Fewer has lived for so long and is definitely a human spirit. Why can't he understand why? He originally thought that the person in front of him was called Lu Yunshen, an explosive and irritable fool who would only use force to solve problems. Did not expect to have such a hand. Is he? The cheeks were red, and Alvia was also very worried. The feeling of a crack in the ice just 1,000 years ago once again appeared in her heart. She shook her head in a hurry, and she wanted to hand over everything she knew to her daughter. She will never delay Robin's study for her children's personal affection. However, because of the evil spirits, Alvia couldn't help but glanced at Qin Luo, and murmured, "Smelly pirate. Let's start the banquet." Another person in the crowd suggested that most of them were homeless tonight, and it was not convenient to clean up at night, so several people contributed all their food reserves. Everyone gathered together like a joyous struggle, gathered under the high platform, and burned several bonfires. Advertisement. Qin Luo solemnly handed the sea stone in his hand to the re-auctioned person, and shook it slightly, and hung the golden lion for a long time, so that the smelly lion was woken up, and people set up a bonfire. Most of the people on the island were homeless tonight, and the people who stayed scratched their heads and wriggled their waists around the campfire. The clouds in the sky slowly dyed bright colors from black, and turned into a colorful neon-like Madara glowing glow. On a branch of the docile bean vine that was cleaned up by Qin Luo, there was a person sitting on a red glow. Under the shining, he dragged his back for a long time, and he drank the last sip of the wine. Looking at the sky, the neon fell into his crystal pupils. It's time to go and see the legendary city. Qin Luo sighed lightly, grinned, got up, played the dew on the black robe, and felt a bit of comfort in his heart. The whole person went down easily and fluttered like a black butterfly Madara. When I came to this bare relic, it was still that huge bean vine, standing between the heavens and the earth, unchanging forever. Compared with the blessings of the four gods, I am afraid that there will be no other ones in the future. People can destroy vines. There is a pit in front of me. As long as you jump down from this dark place, you will be able to go to the golden city of Mount Dora. Qin Luo looks up and looks around, only feels that everything is silent, and the carnival people have fallen asleep, leaving only a piece of land. The cool wind was blowing. Just as Qin Luo jumped, there was a sudden explosion of fire from behind, but fortunately, Qin Luo took a step early and had fallen into a deep pit. When Qin Luo jumped away, his back came from the grass. A girl with a long cloak, jeans and a white t-shirt appeared. Who else would it be if it wasn't Alvia? A look of regret flashed across Alvia's face. Looking at the dark pit in front of him, there was a touch of fortitude in his eyes, without the hesitation before. How sensitive is Qin Luo? How could he not feel that he was shot with a black gun just now? He planned to wait for him to teach him, but he didn't expect to hear the sound of the person jumping in from that opening. Advertisement. Complicated thoughts flashed in his mind, but no matter what he thought, Qin Luo couldn't think of what it meant for the person behind to jump down. Don't you be afraid of him. Qin Luo shoots the opponent behind his back. You must know that this is all going down. As long as Qin Luo hides somewhere where he is going to pass, he can attack people casually. Besides, one-hit kills is a joke for Qin Luo. Call out. The speed of the two of them did not deliberately speed up or deliberately slow down, allowing the black to slide until they fell. I don't know how long it has passed. Qin Luo only feels that when the breeze is no longer the coolness just now, I saw a ray of light appeared below me. The records in Talhuayuanji are exactly the same. Suddenly there is light. Qin Luo couldn't wait to sprint out, staring attentively, only to see the rolling hills and green trees, as if entering a green new world. Ah, that is. Qin Luo has a bird's eye view of the strange paradise that appeared in front of him. There are guide birds ready to take off and guide birds for courtship. Soon, Qin Luo saw a picture he dreamed of. Surrounded by green shadows and in the center of the seaweed-covered island, a golden clock tower stood in shock, because that was the highest place in the city. The green trees did not cover the golden clock so easily. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 352. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Wow, it's a miracle. How did the Sandia immortals build this golden city? Qin Luo couldn't help feeling in his heart the collective wisdom and great achievements of the Sandia ancestors. If you just draw a piece of gold, you can live in Qinghai without any worries. The quality of gold here is very high. The surrounding environment is full of greenery and full of vitality. After 400 years of recuperation and rejuvenation, this place has become a paradise for animals and plants. The number of people flying in the sky and running on the ground is much more than that of ordinary forests. Looking straight ahead, everything recovers, and greenery lurks continuously, as if the whole world has been occupied by green. A flush appeared on Qin Luo's face, and the golden city he dreamed of appeared naked in front of him like this. Qin Luo used the gravitational repulsion to balance the blessing 3 times and 2 by 2. After a few breaths, his steps had fallen on the clock tower. The big golden pillar was hidden and located in this area, with a huge disrepair hanging in the middle. The golden clock, the inscription on the official history of the world near the golden clock is stained with many green algae and vines. Advertisement. At this moment, the morning glow is beginning to revealing the shining rays of the sun, all the way through the thorns. The human pride fell to the ground. On the huge plaque of the inscription 550, the rays of the sky are 550, Qin Luo staring intently at all the changes in front of him. The light there is no device that can shuttle energy around, but what is happening in front of me is too weird. The articles covered on the inscription, the moss drenched by the sunlight, resembling dried salted fish, gradually fell off the Madara on the inscription, and the large characters were circulated by the yellow golden light, but most of these words were it was written in the historical text, and naturally Qin Luo couldn't understand it. But Qin Luo understands the gold. The pillars on both sides are really made of pure gold. How can you see such a large piece of pure gold in Qinghai? It is definitely 999 gold level. Qin Luo was excited, striding forward, and his little hands couldn't help getting excited. This moved this golden pillar, brought it down to Qinghai and placed it at the door of his dragon palace. That style and facade guarantees the 108th generation of Guangzhong Yaozu. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. People have the same heart and heart. Qin Luo took a step forward and hugged the golden pillar directly. The hug turned into a crazy color, and he hugged his hands and stood up. Qin Luo raised his hand directly from above, sweating in his hands, falling rocks all around. The big clock on the top of the door swayed and shook, sweaty and big hands slipped, and the suffocated breath leaked out. He didn't even hug it once. Darkness, devil, tomorrow, work hard. At this moment, there was a soft whisper from behind. Qin Luo, who was engrossed in listening, jumped in his heart, and hurriedly turned around to look at her, only to see her long hair fluttering. The gray-blue robe was fluttering in the wind, and his eyes were almost dull at the golden inscription in front of him. Alvia? Qin Luo asked uncertainly, knowing that if you come down from such a high place, if there is no one, you can't get down even if you are killed. But now Alvia has not only come down from the entrance of the White Sea, standing in front of him still alive and alive, he had a different level than a dirty person like him. Advertisement. Eternal darkness inhabits a demon king who guides the future that will never reach, but sees the demise of tomorrow, and people work hard to move toward death. Alvia didn't seem to hear the voice of Qin Luo. She looked at the stone tablet for herself. If it wasn't for the stone tablet to be too heavy, she wanted to take it back. Why did you get here? One of Qin Luo's exposed eyes flashed a burst of light, bright like a lamp in the dark, and his body slowly retreated, standing side by side with Alvia. He himself was interested in the inscription. Great. After all, the legendary Pluto is very likely to be recorded in it. It is a pity that there is no way to self-interpret, and only rely on Alvia's slow description by his side. Use the exhaust shell. Alvia answered Qin Luo's question freely, and his eyes revealed a stubborn look. Qin Luo has nothing to do here, so I might as well go shopping for some treasures in the Golden City. Before leaving, Alvia still had a word in her mouth, and she must be translating this piece of historical inscription. There are a lot of gold in the Golden City, Qin Luo will go down and buy some high-quality gold with high value, and some gold tribute grades that best reflect their clan spirit and clan prestige. You can buy one if you bring it back. A devil fruit. At the same time, at the entrance of Beibaihai, there was an express lobster train station. A platform built by snow-white island clouds. 4 pillars stood proudly, and the sea breeze passed by. Suddenly, a black shadow drifted by, even Qin Luo can't see the dark figure clearly here either. Advertisement. I don't know if it was frightened or stimulated by a sensitive nerve. An old grandmother who lived inside suddenly walked out. She had wings on her back and wrinkles on her face. She looked like a dried plum face with 10,000 years in her hand. The unchanging camera is now taking pictures of a space. This person is Amazon. Suddenly the old Amazon's body became cold, and a gust of wind blew over, making her uncontrollably take a step back, wanting to call other friends over, but time was too late. A gust of wind passed, and a palm hit Amazon's back with lightning speed, and Amazon fainted on the spot. The place was sparkling, and 2 figures slowly emerged. One figure was wearing a cloak with bad ears, with an earring on the earlobe, and a pair of eyes as sharp as a falcon, wearing a fiery red cloak. The other people around are shockingly familiar to Qin Luo. It turned out to be Alvia. Alvia stood behind the man in the bat cloak with low eyebrows and looked at the man in front of him silently. There was a fanatical emotion and respectful devotion in his eyes, which looked like a religious fanatic. If Qin Luo was at the beginning of the passage of the White Sea at this moment, he would definitely find it unbelievable. The man in the bat cloak slowly put his hand in front of the Amazon, who was knocked out on the ground, and said something in his mouth. The middle sparkled again, as if some miracle would happen, exuding the smell of magic. The man in the bat cloak slowly raised his other left hand and slowly closed his eyes. After only 3 seconds, a string of electric currents from his right hand slowly passed through and fell into his left hand, and his left hand was lifted, sparkling. Underneath the golden light, suddenly, the dazzling light slowly faded from the sparkling, and slowly formed a human face, and then a human body. In a completely illogical situation, a human figure was created out of thin air. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 353. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. And the most weird thing is that this created human figure actually has a face very similar to that of the Amazon lying on the ground. No, even the same face, the same body, and double wings on the back. Wake up, son of Letterfield. The man in the bat cloak flicked his long scarlet cloak, muttered something, and muttered with his head down, as if it were a call. Unexpectedly the fake Amazon, made out of thin air appeared. In front of everyone. Ha ha. Floating cloud god. Others call you floating cloud god, so will you be the opponent of the lonely god Letterfield? I am looking forward to it. After all, Roger and Golden Lion's pirates encountered him. Most of them are fleeing. Seeing that the plan implemented step by step is getting easier and easier to achieve, this person laughs wildly anyway. The man who laughed wildly was the Red Earl, Letterfield, and even the Lonely Red in the mouth of others. Lonely Red once played with the pirates of Roger and Golden Lion among the applause with one hand. Unexpectedly, just after living in seclusion for a year, I saw an interesting newcomer appear. Luyun. Other people call you a god. I don't know. Would you like the gift I prepared for you this time? The Red Earl arrogantly kicked the Amazon lying on the ground and threw it into the house inside. He slapped the family member to directly veto it and locked it up. This person had a pair of cunning eyes, making the Lonely Red, watching feeling unhappy. Advertisement. The Red Earl disappeared slowly, showing a face, and said to Alvia next to him, then we will be here and wait for them quietly. They will come back soon. You hide it too, or they will watch when it comes to you. You will be surprised, even screaming to hell. The voice is getting thinner and thinner, like a mosquito gnat whispering. Thousands of golden light of the morning sun fell, suddenly giving the whole golden city a piece of golden brilliance, brilliantly shining, giving people an indescribable hazy beauty, and there were crazy shouts in the hazy, revealing a piece of grace that is unattainable. The sunlight fell, and she was draped on the gray-blue cloak, and she was also coated with a layer of golden light. Not far away, Qin Luo stared at the person in front of him intently, revealing a thought-provoking thought, and he was stunned. When I think of it, I don't know anything about Alvia, everything is only through Robin's memories. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The appearance of studying the inscriptions so seriously makes Chin Luo's little heart about to jump out, which is really rare. If Chin Luo knows that there is another Alvia in the same space and time, Chin Luo will definitely go crazy. How is it? Chin Luo stepped out and the human figure flew over. Just seeing Alvia put together the rubbed inscription, Chin Luo asked softly and agreed to Chin Luo doing it for Chin Luo at the beginning. A translation of the inscription came out. Smelly pirate. I remember. You sneaked down by yourself without taking me down. I hate you to death. Alvia saw Chin Luo suddenly remembered that Chin Luo was despicable and refused. Bring yourself down, and dare to snatch her kiss in the public. Advertisement. This person is hateful and killable. Didn't I bring you down? Chin Luo said grimly, saying in his heart that he didn't like it unrealistic, especially the kindness of the back just now made Chin Luo very obsessed. You told me to take me down. You're too cunning, you're a clever tongue. You're a scumbag. Alvia's face was red, and the more he talked about it, the more embarrassed he became. This kid didn't even repent at all. With a thin face of anger, he waved his hand and turned away, showing an awkward smile. Why am I being a scumbag? I was just to save you, really a dog biting Lu Dongbing. Chin Luo died unjustly. What's wrong with the scumbag? He is a villain when he is in danger. He is patriotic, loves the people, loves family, and loves beautiful women. Everyone has the heart to love beauty. You kiss me, touch my face. Is it for my good? Thinking of being violated, Alvia, who was tempered, immediately braked in midair. Although Alvia, who has made rapid progress in learning how to use exhaust shells and cloud shells, made a fatal mistake. He suddenly braked in midair, stopped suddenly with his front feet, and exhaust shells with his back feet. He Yunbei rushed over, causing Alvia, who was inexperienced, to frown and panic. His hind foot slammed into his forefoot, and the exhaust shell in Yunbei went out, and Alvia was like a kite flying in the wind, fluttering down. Excitedly, Chin Luo turned around and flew up, trying to catch Alvia who had set up the exhaust shell in Yun shell and wanted to fly away. It was the first time to have such an intimate contact with Alvia, and it only felt very good in the hand. Smelly hooligan. Smelly pirate. Let go. Chin Luo hugged Alvia from behind, recovered from the frightened look of whereabouts, his cheeks blushed, and the words were said quickly and quickly. Advertisement. Hey, why are you scolding again? Really? Didn't I save you? You are about to fall, falling on top of gold, and you will be disfigured if you don't fall to death. Are you saving me? Do you see where you put your hand? Stinky gangster. Let go. Alvia was anxious and angry, his face was already red, his face was angry, and his eyes widened. Swollen, if it weren't for the inability to move his hands, he would want a shot to explode this person's head. I didn't save you, so I wanted to touch you. Chin Luo was angry in his heart and was slanderous, but halfway through, he looked at Alvia's eyes and looked at his hands again, and he was shocked. With a jump, he touched the softest part of the woman. No wonder it feels so good just now. He quickly explained, I was really not intentional just now. I was in a hurry, and the first aider was not careful. Although Chin Luo said so, as an old driver who has come and gone, he would rather kill mistakes than let it go. For the people who overwhelmed Tsunade and Taotu, Chin Luo was really habitual. He squeezed the softness in his hands habitually, and a burst of pleasure came into Chin Luo's mind. You stinky rascal, let go. A tingling feeling came from a private place that I had not been violated in the past 4 years. It's over. This time I'm sure to be regarded as a big-tailed wolf, but he was really inertial just now, it has nothing to do with him. Blame it, it feels too plump and too soft to the touch. Don't let go. Alvia's face was covered with frost. This man was a hooligan. No, he was even more shameless than a hooligan. He was simply a shameless toad. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 354. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I'm sorry. Chin Luo found out that he was still holding someone else's place. In a hurry, he let go, and then grabbed it. I'm afraid that the title of pervert won't be taken off. At any rate, there are a few women in my brother. Why can't help it? This is definitely inertia. It's definitely inertia. The crime of non-war is God's will. The stinky pirate. I'm going to fall to death. If I kill 1,000 swords, I won't let you go as a ghost. Frost became a panic, and Alvia hadn't readjusted the platoon at his feet. Feng Bei and Yun Bei, their bodies directly turned into tiles in midair, and fell straight down. This is 400 to 500 meters away from the ground, and I am sorry for the height difference if I fell down and broke my bones. Qin Luo's face was shocked, let alone nonsense, stepping out in one step. Gravity and repulsion mutually bless each other. Like a bow full of arrows coming out of the string, in an instant he hugged Alvia, stepped out, and a little Feiyui steadily fell to the vicinity of the golden clock. Quickly, let me down. Stinky gangster. As soon as he landed, the angry Alvia hurriedly shouted. The person in front of him is just like his own calamity, and he will be unlucky wherever he goes. When he went out, he met IQ creatures. Now I'm looking for a treasure, and I almost fell to death. Qin Luo quickly let go after confirming Alvia's safety. Alvia's face was frosty, and after rearranging, she stretched out into the sky, turning into a cloud and rushing to the horizon. After Alvia was sent away, the tenderness remaining in Qin Luo's hands turned into a cold, and a nostalgic smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. After a few steps, he suddenly came to this place, which was a lot higher than Qin Luo. In front of the stone steel of his body, thought in his heart. System. Advertisement. It's the master. Can this be used to pretend to be taken away? I remember that there are also 2 such historical inscriptions in the family of the 4 emperors. I can naturally take this away. The system automatically allocates storage space for you. This is less than 3 cubic meters, and it is more than enough to put it in. Okay. After you move away, make a fake one here. Imitating a stone tablet and carving an inscription that are exactly the same, it will cost 1,000 points. Do you want to exchange it? Exchange. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Qin Luo waited for more than a minute, and then the stone steel in front of him disappeared with a slam. Soon, out of thin air, the same imitations appeared again, and even the parts on it that were eaten by the rain could remain exactly the same. After doing these actions, it turns into a stream of light and collects some valuable and even artistic gold. The gold that can be seen everywhere is of no use to Qin Luo. He is not the greedy dragon in the Middle Ages. Back in Beibaihai, Qin Luo found Ganfuer in the place where Ganfuer lived, and saw that the old man in front of him was already much older. He who took off his silver helmet was also old and decayed like other immortals. The action is okay, but his thinking is a little slow. Ganfuer, have you seen the woman who was with you before? Qin Luo asked unceremoniously, in a flat tone. Advertisement. God meant Alvia. She had packed up and set off just now. A trace of doubt appeared on Ganfuer's face, thinking that this person was not with Alvia in her heart. Why has Alvia left without notifying him now? What? Go away. So fast. Qin Luo showed a shriveled look, a bit lonely in his heart, but still maintained a calm look on his face. Where have you been? Did you say anything? It seems to mean to rush to save the remaining 33 people. It means the people who were killed by the golden lion that you sold before. Ganfuer has always been relatively stable, and naturally will not go to the 8 trigrams. No, most of those things are no longer about his Ganfuer. His current task is to coordinate the reconstruction of Angel Island. Okay, then I'll leave too. Qin Luo's face showed a burst of boldness, and the affairs of Sky Island came to an end for the time being. Qin Luo really couldn't ask about the positions of these 33 people. After all, if Ganfuer felt that he hadn't been trusted by Alvia for so many days, he would not lose face. The other thing is Qinghai. I'm afraid that Ganfuer may not know the situation. The only people who want to know the situation at the time are Alvia and Golden Lion. Qin Luo stepped out, the breeze blew, the robe rolled, the red clouds fluttered, turning into the streamer of the sky. Negligently, it has drifted away for several tens of meters. Landed on the high platform where Golden Lion was tied up. There is a mess left by the bonfire party last night, and Golden Lion is hanging and tied to the high platform at this moment. The hair all over his body is messy. When I first met, I didn't know how thick it was and how much it grew, so that someone about the age of Roger was a dozen years old in an instant. Unkempt, dull eyes, a sense of loneliness of a heroic twilight and strong man, but it can be well reflected in Golden Lion. Advertisement. Seeing Qin Luo, Golden Lion climbed up to Qin Luo's shoes like the most pious slave, and said, Luyun God. I was wrong, I was so wrong. Please. You forgive me. Golden Lion, give you a chance to redeem your sins, do you want to? Qin Luo's tone was cold. Facing the miserable Golden Lion, he couldn't give birth to any sympathy. Every time he saw Golden Lion in his mind, I remember what I did last night. IQ creatures killed hundreds of islanders as soon as they landed, all of them were absorbed by the brilliance of life and died. It's just abruptly depriving others of their lives. Everyone has desperate, distorted, and terrified eyes. As long as one glance, Qin Luo feels that he will never forget it in his life. They are just ordinary people, and they have been plundered by these so-called self-proclaimed strong people. Qin Luo will never let these people live in the world. Is it 5.1? God, hurry, tell me, Golden Lion, if I don't fly in the air, I will be a waste lion. Golden Lion's face was startled, followed by a burst of ecstasy, a desire for life. You must know that Luyun killed even celestial dragons, destroyed the world government, and destroyed the Holy Land. It pierced directly from impel down. These great feats all show that Qin Luo is definitely a dare-to-do. Killing a person is like crushing an ant. Yes, I couldn't understand the week before, and seeing them was like crushing an ant to death. Oh, Qin Luo said indifferently, with an expression of, what's up to me? He just needed the cooperation of Golden Lion, so he asked, where do you throw those 33 O'Hara scholars? Up. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 355. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Golden Lion never expected that the heavenly floating cloud god in front of him would actually ask about a trivial matter 4 or 5 days ago, that is, a group of brainless scholars. These people are so lazy and can't do heavy work. It's a miracle to be able to sail for so long. He was thrown into the sea to feed the fish casually by his Golden Lion. For their pirates, thousands of people drowned and died every day. If you want to survive, tell me what you know. Qin Luo's tone became colder, and the corners of his mouth no longer smiled, causing the latter to tremble involuntarily. Even through the mask, he could feel Qin Luo's bloodthirsty, killing intent. Golden Lion put away the contemptuous look on his face, and hurriedly said respectfully, these few things are locked up in love, I think it is necessary to start from the beginning. After I recently walked out of the infinite prison, I just thought I wanted revenge, and then I went to eavesdrop on Marine's actions, but I found out that they actually wanted to send out the Demon Slayer order to kill O'Hara. I had a great curiosity about this, and then I found out it turned out that O'Hara, a group of scholars, could actually read the text of history 800 years ago, which shocked and terrified the world government, because. What's the point? Don't falter. You don't want to live anymore, do you? Qin Luo's eyes condensed, and the cold pressure exudes, directly pressing the Golden Lion and coughing on his stomach. I said. Golden Lion quickly spit out these words from the gap between his teeth. Qin Luo let go of Golden Lion's pressure. Golden Lion gasped for breath, and then continued, because the text of history contains ancient times. The 3 major weapons, this is the thing that the world government fears most. Pluto, built after imitating the city of 7 waters, is said to be able to blast off an island with a single shot. Now the design drawings are still in the hands of Tom, the shipbuilder on the island of 7 waters. Poseidon, the Sea King, can summon all sea areas. The Sea Kings inside can also slaughter a small island in an instant. The King of Heaven is also legendary to control weather changes, thunderstorms, storms, and elemental attacks directly turn a small island into a molten city or a deserted island submerged by a tsunami. Well, go on. Qin Luo was still expressionless, his tone of voice was cold, even in the face of these ancient weapons, Qin Luo was not tempted at all. Advertisement. Okay. Golden Lion couldn't see a tyrannical tendency on Qin Luo's face. He didn't know whether it was a blessing or a curse for him, so he could only bite the bullet and continued, then I thought to find Pluto, this can destroy the world government in one shot. It is very likely that scholars like O'Hara who know where Pluto is, so I found them after I was released from prison, and I found that Alvia was the most talented, so she was left alone, and the remaining 33 people were directly near the island of the 7 waters, throwing them all into the sea to feed the fish. I lied to them at the time and could bring them to the Sky Island. I threw them into the Judicial Island halfway through. As long as Marine gets out of the door, all these wicked elements can be wiped out. Ha ha. Golden Lion said more and more proudly, directly exposing his treacherous nature. Golden Lion, go away, take your floating island as far as you can go. Anyway, I can't let me see you in Qinghai, otherwise, when I see you, it will be the time when you are dead. Do it well. Qin Luo's face was covered with a layer of frost. The Golden Lion in front of him was too damn it, and he dropped O'Hara into the marine fortress where he most wanted to kill them the most. Didn't this cause these people to die? Almost instantly, Qin Luo thought of what the woman like Alvia wanted to do. Absolutely, the past single-handedly died in the marine base camp. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Qin Luo was about to let go of Golden Lion's seastone. He didn't expect Golden Lion to be grateful and grateful. Then he said, Luyun God, you are my reborn parent. And you are also the most honest person I have ever seen. A person of faith. You don't have to worry about getting old with things like loosening. I can only handle it. Golden Lion shook his body, and then caused the rope on his body to fall off, and then continued, thank you God of flowing clouds. I will go back now and I will never show up in Qinghai. Please rest assured and supervise at any time. Qin Luo knew how Golden Lion could be caught by mere seastone rope. Now it seems that this kid has a hand hidden. Advertisement. I'm afraid this kid is afraid of himself now, so he doesn't dare to make trouble in front of him. Otherwise, he would have ran away. Unfortunately, even if he ran away, he would be caught by Qin Luo. It would be better to trick him into making a living. Go. Qin Luo highlighted a word in disgust. Thinking about it, it seemed that the Golden Lion in front of him put another one, but Qin Luo rushed to save Alvia, too lazy to care about so much with the person in front of him. By the way, God, I guess Alvia doesn't have the ability to fly into the air. At most, he can only use the exhaust shells and cloud shells here. These things can't be used when they leave the White Sea and the White Sea. Yes, that is, the hand will become a normal person and fall directly to death from an altitude of close to 5 kilometers. Golden Lion has become a silly talk. He gave Qin Luo what he knew and didn't know. Sure enough, Qin Luo felt stunned when he heard it. If it was confirmed that he said that, wouldn't it be necessary for him to hurry up? Set off, otherwise he really fell into the air from the Bye-Bye Sea, wouldn't it be a free fall? 10 kilometers, that's not a joke. After Qin Luo finished speaking, it turned into a stream of light and shuttled past. The white clouds were retreating fast by the edge. Qin Luo arrived at the entrance of Beibaihai in less than 3 minutes. Only one person took it from the platform. A camera came out to take pictures of Qin Luo. Call out. Qin Luo's figure is fast, almost the same as the speed of light, but very quickly, 650 feels a little faintly disturbed, and then turns around and wants to ask what happened here. Advertisement. Hey, old angel, did you see a woman flying out from here? Qin Luo asked anxiously, and his feet landed firmly on the platform. Women. We have many women here. They are all women coming and going. Your grandmother is also a woman. I don't know which woman you are talking about. Amazon's eyes flashed a sly, and he calmly held this camera in his hand. It's just a sturdy woman wearing a long cloak, jeans, and a firecracker hanging from her waist. She should have flew out with exhaust shells and cloud shells. Qin Luo thought for a while, and then described what she knew as much as possible. Well, the old lady's ears can't hear what you are saying, so you put your hand on my hand, I can use telepathy to communicate. Amazon's eyes brightened brighter. I go, what look in this woman's eyes? Qin Luo fixedly looked at the half-old MILF in front of her. The expression on Gan Mei's face gave Qin Luo a feeling of insignificance. This woman is not lonely and cold, do you want to be comforted? Stop it anymore. Qin Luo hesitantly refused. Of course, he couldn't refuse directly because he still wanted to continue questioning. Hey, what are you doing? Qin Luo suddenly jumped into thunder. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 356. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The man didn't understand what Qin Luo meant when he refused, so he grabbed Qin Luo's arm and pressed it against his forehead. The old woman knows her heart. As long as I can hear your heart, then I can judge whether you really care about that person. If you are sincere enough, I can help you find that woman. You have to trust the old woman. If Angel Amazon said that her hands were rough and pious, and she closed her eyes, as if she was immersed in Shinzun's feelings. After a while, she lifted her eyes, and her eyes flashed with just the right difference, and then there was a shock on her face, followed by a shock. It turned into a burst of doubt. How about it? Did you help you remember where she was? Chin Luo's exposed eye was filled with mist. It was murderous. As long as this person moved slightly, he wouldn't mind taking care of the woman. However, this woman was quite decent and didn't mean to infringe anything. She just put her hand on top of Chin Luo's head, and there was no further movement. After a long time, Amazon put Chin Luo's hands down and said, "I obeyed your heart. I think you must be very concerned about this woman. Then I will seriously tell you that this woman is as good as you imagined. Woman, I hope you will treat her well. She passed in front of me not long ago, and took the Paifeng Bay and Yunbei to the north." North? Isn't that the marine fortress Marin Vander? Chin Luo was startled when he heard it, but there was always a hidden dodge in the eyes of the woman in front of him. "Thank you, I'll leave first." Advertisement. Chin Luo did not speak much, and continued to pretend to be nonchalant. He turned around and moved away from the entrance site, turning into a streamer, hovering in the distance, and fell briskly near the site and found some thick clouds to protect himself. It's covered up. Holding his breath and condensing, using water to melt all things, he merged his body into the sea, turning it into a natural eavesdropping mechanism. Amazon did not find anyone listening to her. After she saw Chin Luo flying away, the treacherousness hidden in the corner of her eye was exposed. She turned around and walked in the door. When the door was opened, another Amazon appeared, but this Amazon was using resentment. Staring at the Amazon at the door. "Why, do you have a big opinion on me? Or do you think that you are ashamed of yourself when you see me as fat and bloated as you? This kid is interesting, and there is no doubt that Alvia who ran away has been taken away by me." Up. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Amazon put his hands on his face and shook his body for a while, and his body slowly changed. The original prunes-like shriveled face slowly grew longer, and the skin was no longer wrinkled, and it turned into something more. The majestic human form, with a bat-shaped cloak behind his back, the coquettish red color is extremely fascinating. He was tied up with Amazon on his back, muttering to himself. "Okay. Don't hate me." The Red Earl in the bat cloak turned around and glanced at Amazon, then said, "I don't like your stinky skin, old and ugly." Turning around, it turned into countless vampire bats and drifted away. Hearing the sound of the bat-shaped man in the red cloak turned into a bloody weapon and fluttered away, Chin Luo knew that the woman he chased out was Alvia, who he said had been dropped, and Chin Luo was preparing. When the man was caught for questioning, the man flew away. Advertisement. Looking at the opponent's body, it looks a bit like the fruit of Zone's bat. Chin Luo scratched his scalp and couldn't remember who among the pirates ate the bat fruit. Now he went out and asked the real Amazon to find no results, because Chin Luo's hesitation just now directly led to the appearance of this person in front of him. The situation caused the opponent to run away. Moreover, the opponent's strength is not in the least like Roger and Whitebeard. Now if you want to continue to hold on to the clues, you have to wait until Chin Luo goes to catch the fake Alvia, so that it is possible to know what medicine is sold in the other party's gourd. Chin Luo came out of the hiding place, his brows slightly adjusted, and his left eye jumped fiercely. "I don't know if there will be any moths this time." Forced to suppress the crazy and messy thoughts in his heart, and now Alvia is in their hands, Chin Luo can't be too reckless. The most important thing now is to figure out what this person is plotting. Chin Luo once again melted everything with water and found the whereabouts of Rabu, Luju and others, and then asked them to meet him at the place of Beibaihai. "Boss." Taotu jumped 3 feet high. Seeing Chin Luo was like seeing Taozi. It made her feel like a rabbit. The restless heart gradually calmed down and turned into a peaceful atmosphere. "What's the backing of your hand just now? Why did you just overwhelm such a huge IQ plant so casually?" Taotu was very happy. She was walking in the lovely street just now and heard that she had escaped. People talked about that battle very much, and when it comes to that battle, it seems like there are endless topics. Advertisement. Originally his boyfriend Chin Luo was even more the protagonist in the story. Naturally, Taotu had discussed with them for a long time, and it was considered that they found a common topic, which made Taotu happy, but most people only know the huge bean. Man appeared like a god, but he didn't know that it was a violent plant caused by the evil IQ. Qin Luo first told Rab to go first and trace to the north, lest the only clue that was now in front of him would disappear. Then, he explained the general situation to Taotu. Lu Ju on the side is not thinking, nor is she listening to Qin Luo's speech very seriously. She looks at the window from time to time, and the window always has unexpected scenery. Suddenly, she turned her head and looked at Qin Luo steadily. At that time, Qin Luo was stunned. Sister Lu Ju, what's the matter? Are you worried? Taotu's face flashed with a solemn color, but the eyes looking at Lu Ju didn't have any thoughts. I'm thinking why Lu Yun let us go to the north. In the north, it's our ManhwaEdit, if I remember correctly. Lu Ju's eyes flung back to Qin Luo's body again. This point Lu Ju I still don't understand. When Qin Luo heard this, his expression was embarrassing, and he secretly asked them to tell them to chase a woman back. If I say it myself, I am afraid that Taotu will not let myself go on the bed. Despite this in my heart, there was still a calm expression on his face. Suddenly he exhaled a touch of solemnity, and said, I have a strong anxiety in my heart. We need to go to ManhwaEdit to make me feel at ease. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 47%. Chapter 357. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This sentence is the truth. He now needs to go to Marine to take back all the devil fruit in the previous IOU. He needs points now. Only if he has points, he can help Roger take the devil fruit from Blackjack and let Roger eat the invisible fruit, so that although Roger is alive, outsiders think he is dead. You can even go to the sea to do evil under the name of Blackjack. Of course Qin Luo also knew that Roger would never do evil. Shaking his head, he shook away the fantasy in his mind. Oh. Just as the three of them continued to talk about their exciting journey through the sky, Rob, seeing how they sounded, he should be more anxious. Lu Ju and Dao Tu were stunned in their hearts, their expressions on alert, ready to deal with emergencies. Only Qin Luo wore a mask with no expression on his face, but he was happy in his heart. It seems that this time he was right to bet. Hearing the sound, Qin Luo and Taotu came out together. Through the special passage of whales, they prepared to go directly outside to see what happened. The reason why it was so grand was of course Qin Luo's suggestion. If you don't do this, it might not be beautiful if you wait for a corpse to be pulled up. Qin Luo lowered his head to hide the smile in the corner of his eyes. Advertisement. Wow. A fountain-like spring 780 spouted directly from the back of the rab, splashing in all directions, forming a strong and solid water column for a time. And the mist was in the midair of the White Sea, and it was also caused by the splashing water vapor. The gust of wind passed through, and a cloud of mist was empty. After the clouds were light and windy, a man and a woman appeared. The man was handsome, with extraordinary temperament, star brows and sword eyes, and the woman's face was peach blossom, her face was crimson, and her red lips were bright and beautiful. To the golden boy and the girl. Just listen to the woman opening her vermilion lips lightly. Her eyes filled with anxiety. What happened? Rabu called so anxious. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The speaker was Taotu. As Qin Luo came out through the whale's high-speed channel, the two stood on the rag holding hands, standing high, but they were surrounded by a large area of mist, which made them feel very the inconvenience, still can't see what happened before. Don't worry, wait for me to take a look and see what happened. The man is Qin Luo, with a black robe and body and red clouds swaying in the wind so vividly, compared with the woman's anxiety. Qin Luo really used freehand brushwork to describe it. He was lazy all over, opened the Sharingan with his full-level eyes and saw the outline of the cloud and mist. It is true that the energy stored in the exhaust shell and the cloud-berry surface are used the fake, Albia, who fell into the water after being frustrated. What's the matter? Tell me, what's the selling point? When is this? Although Taotu has a good armament hockey, but the practice of seeing and hearing beauty is not as caring as her sister Lieutenant General Crane, so in seeing and hearing sex has always been weak. The best example now is that she can't hear what Rabu has encountered in front of her. It's nothing, it seems that someone has fallen into the bye-bye sea. Seeing that her chest rises and falls more and more slowly, it is estimated that the breath is gradually disappearing after just experiencing a struggle. Qin Luo expressionless, as if commenting on a story same, without a trace of personal feelings. Advertisement. After all, he knew in his heart that this was not the real Alvia, so there was no need to save him in a hurry. Qin Luo's cold blood made Taotu extremely upset. Before Qin Luo finished speaking, Taotu interrupted Qin Luo's gentle narration. Rabu, swallow that woman into her stomach. Taotu's eyes were so anxious that two fires rose up, pulling Qin Luo down from the special passage of the huge whale Rab, where there was a row of ladders left by the pirate King Roger, the ship doctor, and the two climbed. Taotu suddenly found herself floating, and she was so scared that Taotu was drowning and scratched. The kind Qin Luo was caught with several scars on his face and chest. Hey, hello, do you want to be so hungry? Qin Luo didn't care. A wicked smile appeared on his cheeks. He just saw that Taotu was so anxious that he forgot that Qin Luo could use the air technique at will. Qin Luo thought that she was kind enough to put her in the air with a flying technique, but she thought that she was about to lose her weight and fell to death, so she struggled in Qin Luo's arms in midair for a long time. FKU, you're a pervert. Taotu's cheeks are red, like a ripe apple. Just now, people are frightened, and people naturally want to grab everything that can be grabbed around them. There is nothing wrong with this. Why did you get to Qin Luo? Is the smell here? It's still the original taste. Qin Luo remembered that at the beginning, the Peach and Rabbit shouted stinky pirates and perverts to Qin Luo. Now he takes care of himself in every possible way. Will become Qin Luo's long-term partner. You are the original pervert, said the Peach Rabbit angrily, gesturing with his hands in a wolf-like manner, the original taste. Advertisement. Men are not lustful, and women don't love. Yes, I like perverts. Taotu followed Qin Luo's tone, originally trying to scold Qin Luo as a big-tailed pervert, but as soon as he said this, there was a strong hovering no matter how you look at it. The slutty fox taste. So Taotu was embarrassed, wishing to find a crack to go in. The two made a fuss. Qin Luo looked indifferent, but Taotu was very anxious, urging Qin Luo to quickly go over and treat the people on the ground. As she walked, Taotu's eyes glowed, and she soon saw a figure in Rab's gastric juice. She happened to be lying on top of an abandoned weba, which was made of wood, even though she had lost her platoon. Fengbei's energy can still be used as a driftwood, carried on it, and used to survive in the sea. Taotu walked in quickly, anxious in her heart. After 3 steps and 2 steps, she came to the woman who was in trouble. She was wearing an old cloak, and her face became paler because of being soaked in the sea for a long time. Some were pale, and Taotu was so scared that Taotu knelt on the ground and floated people up. Turning around, he urged Qin Luo to perform the flight technique. At a glance, Qin Luo saw this fake Alvia, who had almost the same appearance as Alvia. He did sigh, and then took Taotu and that, Alvia. Went straight back to his base camp. Going to the small island in the center of the gastric juice, Qin Luo put the persons back into the small island's house. Taotu led a pile of medicine, like a spinning top, around the Alvia, to perform treatment, treating the wounds and cleaning the face. Filthy things. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 358. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. When Qin Luo was almost done, he heard the tears of Alvia. Wow. And a large swath of filth was spit out from his mouth, all of which were seawater drawn from the White Sea. At this time, he vomited it out. That's it, so that you won't suffer. Qin Luo intends to patrol the 2 prisoners and let Taotu take care of Alvia. With Taotu's cultivation base, it shouldn't be a loss for Alvia. When I walked into the room of prisoner number 1, I just saw the Banshee King Eva walking around with a heavy seastone necklace. He was almost mad when he was locked up in this room recently, and his gang clearly agreed. I went to find 30 devil fruits to redeem him. But the people here have been here for almost 7 days and have not seen any news. I don't know if Qin Luo wants to lock him up on purpose and then lock him up until he is old and dead. Then Qin Luo is too insidious and unfaithful. While he was thinking, he thought of the sound of a slap outside the corridor. 1 step, 2 steps, returning his thoughts that had drifted away. This voice was the voice he had longed for 7 days. When I heard this, my face was stunned, and then a pair of bullfrog-sized eyes showed a touch of expression, and I knew that these guys were very reliable. This time, I will definitely gather 30 devil fruits. Why? You are in good spirits here. Qin Luo showed a playful smile, with a flash of splendor in his eyes. When I first came in, I saw Eva so excited, and it seemed as if I had given myself a stimulant. Can I go out now? I can see the sun again. Eva said excitedly, and the colorful hair on her body grew again, and as he became emotional, it continued to tremble. Qin Luo's voice made him so excited. Advertisement. I'm sorry. Qin Luo couldn't bear to tell Eva a cruel reality, that is, so far Qin Luo has not received any news that his subordinates have collected devil fruit to exchange, as long as there is such a release. Tsunade will definitely try his best to tell himself. Thinking about it this way, I recalled Tsunade with plump breasts and fat buttocks, and the wonderful night of the Fishman Island. It was the night when she became a princess and the night when she became a woman. Every detail made Qin Luo thought. Float further. Yes, I'm going back to see Tsunade. I'm sorry. Why do you say I'm sorry? I say I'm sorry, boy. The excitement on Eva's face turned into excitement first, then panic, then loneliness. There is always something. A hunch lingered in his mind that Qin Luo would never come to let him go now. Is it right? Didn't they send devil fruit over to redeem me? Eva suppressed the sadness and despair in her heart. Her eyes were already wet with warmth. As long as there was a little bit of catalysis, Eva is very likely to become a fountain of tears. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Well, I haven't received anything from my side about your crew having received things from my elders. Started by the look in Eva's eyes, Qin Luo didn't dare to speak any hard words anymore, but kept a calm tone and explained what was happening to Eva. Qin Luo didn't feel very cold to this ladyboy, but now facing the shemale's embarrassed appearance, he couldn't help but sigh for a while. Advertisement. How is this possible? It's been 7 days, why haven't the devil fruits been collected? This is a contempt for me and Eva. I have to do it myself and sell all this bunch of useless garbage at a low price. Go. I'm going back in the future, and I must devour them alive. You come back to me and sit down well, otherwise I'll be rude to you. Qin Luo watched Eva, the treacherous king of shemales, walked past him grandiosely. That's okay. Even though I know even if the other party ran out, he couldn't escape, but Qin Luo didn't need to waste time to catch him back. What's wrong with me? What's the matter? I actually walked out of the cell, probably I was confused. I will go back now. Boy, don't you want to kill me? Eva smiled mischievously in her eyes, tightly. Then there was a layer of disappointment and fear. The latter's eyes seemed to be covered with frost, and the cold killing intent in the opponent's eyes could be felt even so far away. Okay. If there is news, I will notify you. Qin Luo's eyes changed in blue and gradually covered with thin ice. As long as the opponent has any evil thoughts, it is basically the biggest threat. Compared to Eva, Black Jack's expression is much quieter. He is also tied up by Seastone. His face is as gray as death. He has been included in other label products by Qin Luo. It is not a serious competition at all. The black half of the face seemed to be withered. Zhou Baba's, on the contrary, the white side was as fat as a baby, with smooth and tender skin. Luyun God, please, my lord has a lot, please let me go. Even if I am a cow or a horse in the future, I will not frown. Please believe me, I have taken you to find so many guarantees, even if there is hard work without credit. Please read it from me. Black Jack came over from his sleep and saw a surprise. He remembered that Qin Luo once said that when he found the treasure, he let him go. Didn't they go to the Golden City? This treasure plan has already been realized. Well, let me think about it. Qin Luo's expression flashed with frost, making this person shudder. Advertisement. Faced with such a bastard rogue like Qin Luo, Blackjack was shocked. After others said and considered, he could not refute it. The other party had an absolute advantage and he could not refute it. The most terrifying thing was that he didn't know what to do next. What happened? Then, Qin Luo walked away, leaving only the black robe and red clouds, like a cold wind blowing in front of him, but he himself couldn't do anything. After pacing back to the island in Rab's gastric juice, Qin Luo thought about it, and suddenly ran into a turbulent Peach Rabbit head-on. Peach Rabbit and Qin Luo are not at the same level of force, and Qin Luo automatically releases the full force. Grade-level physical body smashed Taodu to the ground. Fortunately, Qin Luo reacted in time, rotating and teleporting between the flashing stones, and quickly hugged her to the ground. I didn't hear Taudu's cry for help, but instead heard Taudu's surprise and inexplicable scream. The woman is awake. She is yelling to see you. Want to see me? Qin Luo was puzzled for a while. Why did he want to see him? How did she know that I was here? Qin Luo said this sentence with a twitch of his mind. She said she saw you in a hazy before she fainted. That's okay, I will meet her. Qin Luo's tone was flat, and he didn't distinguish between fakes and shoddy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 359. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Did she know you beforehand? Just as Qin Luo moved away, the peach rabbit made an angry voice behind him. Her voice seemed to punch into the cotton, and she said, but the former stepped very fast, and the figure flashed out in a few seconds. Obviously she did not hear the words of Taudu, but in her heart, she still felt Qin Luo angered her. It's not that I didn't hear it, but Qin Luo, who is quite feminine, feels that this way of neglecting the other party will not make him proud. Quickly walked out and came to the woman's single room. Qin Luo really didn't want to know that this woman was obviously pretending to be Alvia, why it seemed that she could even harass him brazenly. Are you okay? Qin Luo's vision soon saw a thin woman lying on the bed, just like a real person. If Qin Luo hadn't overheard the Amazon clone of Mr. Na, he would not have doubted the person in front of him. However, Qin Luo is really well trained. Under the mask, his voice is gentler, as if he already has a certain level of familiarity with the other party. Ah, God of flowing clouds. Alvia was surprised and inexplicably surprised all over, trying hard to stand up, as if the last drowning straw caught in front of him was Qin Luo. Slow down, you just came back from Shinigami. You need to rest, Qin Luo said. His eyes flashed a little dark. He wanted to see through this woman's every move, but no matter how he looked at it, he still couldn't see through his behavior. Advertisement. I'm okay. God of flowing clouds, I should have repaid you well. This time let you rescue me again. I am an incompetent companion. My remaining 33 partners, all, woo. Alvia raised his head and stared, his eyes flushed, and he covered his face with his hands, and started to cry. Qin Luo really can't tell what happened to the woman in front of her, but seeing her just now, it's almost exactly the same as the original Alvia. It should be so lifelike. Of course, apart from just a little bit eager to get out of her goal, the rest of the acting cooperation is very well in place, just like a normal person. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You want me to save your 33 buddies, look at their appearance, and you go north as soon as you go out. I guess your 33 buddies are all there at the moment. Malin Vando, are you going to be imprisoned in Impel Down? Qin Luo said, with the help of a mask on his face to cover up the subtle changes in his eyes. When the voice ray analyzes the intentions of others so clearly, it shows a pressing force. This is a decision made under psychological cue. Qin Luo is it's hard to control not to hate a liar. But what is even more embarrassing now is that after the man with the appearance of a bad vampire just disappeared, he has no other clues, except for the fake Alvia in front of him. That is to say, he can only rely on the person in front of him to find it. Really. At present, Qin Luo has a lot of strength, but he doesn't know where to push his strength, and he can't find a more effective solution to this matter. This may be what others call a conspiracy. Advertisement. The person who calculated Alvia was simply a big hole that made Qin Luo had to jump in. But the other person is also insidious enough. Even if Qin Luo calculated this way, he must have laid a trap in the front, let Qin Luo enter, and then carry out a large-scale encirclement and suppression, or even a demon-killing order. However, Qin Luo sees through but does not say it is broken. Others may think that it is too risky to know that there are tigers in the mountains and go to the Tiger Mountains. But for Qin Luo, when all the damage can be zero, the opponent only needs to put forward the bigger the battle, the faster the face is slapped. This is also the reason why Qin Luo voluntarily enters the pit calmly. Then they will find that their bamboo and sharp sword can't kill people at all. Alvia looked dumbfounded. You are too direct. I didn't finish this. You just broke out all my goals. Is it embarrassing? A flushed face. Indeed, she was extremely excited, because from Alvia's point of view, if she were to save his partner in this way, she would definitely be so excited. When I walked in, I saw that Qin Luo promised to help Alvia go to the World Government Marine Headquarters like Malin Vando to grab people. The puffy cheeks of Tautu became bigger and the eye circles were slightly smaller. Red, as expected, Qin Luo really likes the new and weary of the old, and naturally abandons her without the freshness of the past, and even goes in and out of Malin Vatican for a woman. No, you can't just surrender your sovereignty. Advertisement. Hey, did you know that you would make me feel distressed like this? Tautu also tried to swear his sovereignty. The white tee he wore on the front of the body was originally low-opening and tight-fitting, but his eyes looked like you. A scoop fell on Qin Luo's body. If you are pushed into the marine surrounded to save this female companion, you will be swept by the boss collectively. I am afraid I will be flattered. When has Qin Luo seen such a strong wave of welfare? Even though Peach Rabbit used to squint and clamp his hands in that place, now he actually leaned forward. Qin Luo's nostrils were hot and humid, and there was something unexpected about it. There was a blood sword spray from an old turtle-style Qigong guy with a weak kidney. I'm okay, it's okay. Qin Luo looked like a Peach Rabbit pulled his nose away, and started talking nonsense. You don't know how dangerous it is to go inside. We are surrounded, what should we do? You can fly to the sky, we can't, what should Lu Ju do? What about Rab? Tautu almost didn't explode on her face. The one who came to seduce Qin Luo, why did he suddenly show off, so that Qin Luo's IQ was no longer online, and he squinted and agreed directly. Okay, I promise to show you my wise appearance and take you to Malin Vatican for a tour. Last time I asked you to wait outside Malin Vatican, I must not be able to appreciate the perfect scenery of Malin Vatican. Wait, I will take you to admire this magnificent scenery, just you and me, how? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. 47%. Chapter 360. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Qin Luo pretended not to know Tautu's good intentions, but instead said this is a provocation against the little girl. At this moment, the sea level made of gastric juice slowly tilted up. It was not the Peach Rabbit who called out first, but the strange screams of the prisoners in the next room. You must know that they are sea stone. In the body, there is no self-protection ability to fall into the ditch, that is, a pile of scrap iron, directly immersed in the sea. What's going on? Lu Ju rushed in from the door. Even if she was a strong woman, her face was a little pale. If Rabu acted abnormally, it might be possible to drown them directly. Did we not catch a squid when we went down? Qin Luo's forehead was hot, and the One Piece plot setting flashed in his mind. They forgot a very important setting, that is, if they want to be free from nothing. The only way to go down the island is to fall directly, but before falling directly, they have an inflatable Squid 17, which can turn into a huge parachute, so as to ensure that they will not be threatened. What squid? What squid are you talking about at this time? I told you not to go to Marin Vatican. You go, now you are well and you will be punished. Tautu hasn't figured out how all this happened, and directly explained the reason for this story. Pushed to Qin Luo to go to Malin Vatican. We are falling off the island into Qinghai. We now have no choice but to fall from here in Qinghai wherever we go. After, Alvia showed a panic expression, he was nervous again. Look. Qin Luo secretly said that this woman was yelling at him before. Qin Luo was a pervert and perverted. Why did it suddenly become almost the same as my dear? Could it be his Qin Luo's illusion? It seems that the cloning thing in front of me, because of its mission, still reveals a flaw. Advertisement. If it's true Alvia, I'm afraid I'd like to kick Qin Luo to death, because in her eyes Qin Luo is the companion of Golden Lion who killed her 33 partners. Yes, Qin Luo and Golden Lion are a group. Yes, in Alvia's eyes. Observing the details, Qin Luo did not rush to expose the other party's evil behavior. But he said, the three of you stay here quietly, I believe Rab will adjust it. Rabu. This is more than 3 kilometers above the Blue Sea. If it falls, won't it turn into dried persimmons? Didn't the Peach Rabbits have never seen falling from the sky? Then Golden Lion spoiled the Hulk and landed and fell down. It's a mess, how can it be said that Rab keeps his figure? Mature and stable like Lu Ju, she also put a pair of beautiful eyes tightly on Qin Luo at this moment. You must know that she is more nervous than Tautu. If she fails, it will be a dead body and 2 lives. This is Roger's only flesh and blood. Even Taotu and Luju, who have witnessed so many miracles, have a nervous look, let alone Albia, who is even more nervous. A dolphin, how can it fly in the air? This unscientific. Unscientific. We are dying. We are dying. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's so noisy. Be quiet. Fanur, a sister of Taotu's mighty hockey, called out. I can't communicate with the Labu in front of me. Labu, don't lose your balance. Think about you swimming in the sea. It's sea water that sets off your buoyancy. Now when you're in the sky, pretend to be in the air. The breeze that blows over drags your body up. In fact, Chin Luo is just making up, and has slowly used repulsion and attraction in secret, using the reconciliation of the two to create the appearance of wind buoyancy holding up the cloth, but this is all because of the presence of outsiders. That's why I recite the buoyancy that shit doesn't make sense. Advertisement. If Rabu has such a terrifying figure, there is only gravitational acceleration in midair. This is the pirate world and not outer space, and the universal gravitation can smash Rabu into a piece of persimmon. Taotu is not wrong on this point. Of course that is normal, and now the appearance of Chin Luo is simply a bug. In less than 5 seconds, Rab shouted happily. All the women were sighing. The three of them slapped their chests, slapped their foreheads, and slapped their foreheads. Several of them were violent people. The action of slapped their chests naturally turned into a beautiful landscape. Dead pervert. Taotu and Albia noticed the dazzling flame in Chin Luo's eyes at the same time. Women, in private, hope to be seen enough by their own men, and even smeared several. But that doesn't mean that they should be allowed to be directly outside like this, and this will become a turmoil. So when the two women saw Chin Luo's appearance, they both roared wildly and treated Chin Luo as a pervert. Taotu also very much like the enemy and threw out the pillow, hitting Chin Luo's body shape. Chin Luo exclaimed, and then he saw Luju at the door enduring a pregnancy reaction, after all. After Rab's turning over and tossing, even the strongest woman couldn't stand it, so she was throwing up while holding on to the wall, and then she saw Chin Luo's face of treacherous tricks failing to succeed, and the embarrassment that was kicked out made her feel in her heart a joy. His face was sad, thinking of Roger from the past. Chin Luo was embarrassed in his heart. After all, this time, he was harassed by the same enemies of Albia and Taotu. This is really angry and crying Chin Luo 683. Isn't it just a few glances? Even if it is a fake Albia, it has a good idea. Just take a look at what's going on, it's true. Advertisement. But think about it, if Albia turns into an old vampire in front of him for no reason, then it's really a big deal. He's not a joke, and disgusting bara. Chin Luo freshened up and put on the swimsuit and swimming trunks he hadn't worn for a long time. Of course, he still wore a mask on his face. Then he walked out of the house. The boat doctor did a good job. There are small islands, beaches, and the sky is blue. It is an open-air beach. Chin Luo can lie down on a beach chair for a while. Hey, boss, do you think that woman is weird? Chin Luo just lay down and was about to wander in his eyes, when he heard the kitten walking by a person behind him. Listening to its footsteps is like a peach rabbit. Came to his ear and whispered. Woman. Which woman? Chin Luo rolled over lazily. As a result, he was faced with a huge wave of welfare that he was about to live to the end of his life. She was leaning over to speak and just listen. Talking in her mouth. The omen is now. Why do you still have many women? Tell me honestly. Taotu is also a master of words and expressions. Immediately grab it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtlnovel for free. Advertisement.